The band is now all fired up. They had to stop the band, though.
And we welcome you to a special edition, a rivalry edition of TU Game Day Live presented by the U.S. Coast Guard. I'm Charles McNeil. And yes, we're here at our home away from home, the Cramton Bowl. So excited to be here in Montgomery one more time for the second time this season and another matchup with some felines. That's right, it's the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee taking on the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse. And there is a lot going on. There's about 100,000 football fans here in the city, what with our Classic and Turkey Day Classic rival, Alabama State, hosting Bethune-Cookman during the Hornets' homecoming. Best of luck to them. Last weekend, Morehouse dropped a tough one against Edward Waters 27-24. And last Saturday, during our military appreciation and family weekend at home, we dropped a 27-20 contest, a conference matchup against winless Fort Valley State. Something's got to give.
And a pass down the right side. They're going to streak that all the way down. It's going to be J.T. Pendleton. And Pendleton beat the defense, and he found a lane on the right sideline and not touched by Tuskegee. And that defense of Tuskegee gets burned early here by the Wildcats. Wildcats showing they're coming, and they are. Bill unloads it. Rouser out of the backfield, trying to turn the corner. Rouser, touchdown, Tuskegee. They caught him coming in there, and a nice call there by Harry Williams to flank Rouser out of the backfield for the touchdown grab. Ryan, the deep kick, backpedaling and over the head of Morgan. They'll have to run it back because it hit at the 1 yard line. Morgan picked it up, slides to his left, got some space now to the right. He may be off to the races. Morgan at midfield got past everybody, and my oh my, Wildcats come up big from the 1 yard line on a 99-yard touchdown return by Braden Morgan.
Offensively, we was able to move the ball up and down the field, but we just couldn't get it in the box. But we needed to score at times. Defensively, we had our eyes in the wrong place at times, and they hit us with some big plays and the things. But at times we got off the field defensively. But like I said, we just got to make sure that we doing our part offensively to get the ball in the end zone. My hat goes out to Fort Valley and Coach Watson. They came in and got their first victory.
Today, it's not just another game, it's a classic, the Morehouse-Tuskegee rivalry, a game that defines legacies, celebrates tradition, and elevates expectations. These two programs mean so much to so many, and they share more than a century of history. And this afternoon, they'll add another chapter to this one. It's a black college football experience unlike any other, one of the greatest stories ever told. So get ready. The Standard is up next as TU Game Day Live presented by the U.S. Coast Guard rolls on right after this.
C-SPY is a prestigious scholarship, a world-class leadership training program, and a ticket to a rewarding career as an officer in the United States Coast Guard. C-SPY is an opportunity for students attending minority-serving institutions that goes beyond paying for 2 years of tuition and other college expenses. Once accepted, you'll be a member of the Coast Guard, earning a full-time salary, plus medical benefits and a housing allowance. While continuing your full-time studies, you'll get to learn about life in the Coast Guard firsthand. You'll quickly find that the Coast Guard is unique from the other military branches. It's a different kind of service, with crews of like-minded people who perform life-saving missions every day. and protect our environment and communities. If you're ready to step up as a leader and help us make the world a better place, then visit gocoastguard.com/CSPI to learn more or talk to a recruiter.
This segment is called The Standard because at Tuskegee, that's what we strive for. Championships. Yes, we love trophies, and Lord knows we've got plenty of them. But also consistency, character, and resilience are a big part of the standard. So let's address the obvious. 3 straight losses, that's not the standard, not the Tuskegee standard. Great programs find ways to respond, especially in big games, classic games, and in contests against teams also looking for something to prove.
Snap. Bill looks end zone, across the middle again. This time is good for the touchdown. He found this guy Brigman on the cross. Bill back in at quarterback. He'll take the snap. Ball fake delivered. Bill in the pocket, firing up. Got a man wide open. Easy 6 there for the Golden Tigers. Jonathan Montreville, the senior, wide open. Just middle of the end zone for the 6. Lee Davis. He'll take the snap. Short drop. Floater to the corner of the end zone. Garmin 101 comes back for the football. Garmin, he's in for the touchdown.
It's one of the oldest HBCU classic rivals that's ever been played, and this is the 86th classic going into this weekend. So I'm trying to tell my guys what the meaning of this classic means for our institution, and just making sure that we prepare to go for us this weekend against Morehouse in this classics. We're not looking at the records. Those guys are going to come in and fly around and play hard, and we just got to make sure that we're matching their intensity. And then, like I say, for us rivals, they want to come in.
Times in school history. Despite their 0-4 record, Morehouse has been improving each week. They need to bring that energy again tonight after getting rocked by the Golden Tigers 42-zip in Columbus, Georgia 352 days ago. TU has caged the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse each of the last 3 seasons and 8 of the last 10 meetings. This classic was going to feature 2 of the top 5 passer-receiver combos in the SIAC this season, with Raekwon Beal and E.J. Hall matching up against Scott Miles and Cam Brunson of Morehouse. But Beal suffered a knee injury versus Fort Valley State last week, and he's been ruled out tonight. Freshman signal caller Bryson McGrew, who's from right here in Montgomery, will see his first action of the season. So the key tonight for TU, get back to the fundamentals, that discipline, energy, and execution. Let's quickly look at the tail of the tape. What a matchup it'll be. Both teams in desperate need of another SIAC win. Overall, Tuskegee has dominated the series. As we mentioned, 3 straight victories, including last year's win. Offensively, both of them have struggled. Defensively, they're giving up way too many points. Now that we have the numbers out of the way, it's time for us to take a look at one of the new coaches that have joined the program. You may recall us visiting with our first-year defense coordinator, O.C. Williams, a little earlier in the season, the former associate coach at Fort Valley State. Now let's meet another new member of the Golden Tigers family.
My goal here is just to help these young men be the best they can be on and off the field. It's bigger than football. It's about, making these guys, and not making, but helping these guys grow into young men that can be positive and good role models for the future 10 years from now. And every lesson that they learn from football, they'll be able to apply it in their everyday life. That's my major impact. Obviously, you want to do good with the football team as far as the numbers and stuff like that, but in the grand scheme of things, my immediate impact is just want to be a father figure to these guys that don't have one, a mentor that don't have one, a guy, somebody they can just come talk to, and just be able to have someone they can relate to.
Thanks, Coach. Definitely happy to have Coach Carter on our sidelines as our linebackers coach after 2 successful seasons at Lane College. Now let's take a look and shine a light on brilliance on the field in the SIAC. 4 standout performers earned conference honors this week. And let's begin with Kentucky State quarterback Torrance Bardell. He led the Thoroughbreds with 95 rushing yards and was responsible for 4 touchdowns to gain his Offensive Player of the Week honor. The Defensive Player of the Week is Central State standout, the linebacker Dominic Davis II. His 12 tackles and a sack led the Marauders to an easy win over Lane College. We saw this young man firsthand, the Special Teams Player of the Week, Braylon Morgan. Fort Valley State, he was a monster. Had 2 kick returns for over 142 yards, including a 98-yard house call as the Wildcats upset the Golden Tigers. And our newcomer of the week is Edward Waters quarterback Noah Bodden. He was 26 of 38 for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns to lift the Tigers over Morehouse. We close the standard by shining a light on our alumni chapters. GTSN is 3 weeks away from hosting the winning alumni chapter in our Watch and Win contest with a deluxe tailgate party experience unlike any other during homecoming. Thanks again to all the chapter presidents for all that you've done. Your participation so far has been amazing, and the feedback that we've received has been unbelievable. Now let's take a look at the current leaderboard. Our tailgate party is just GTSN's small way of saying we appreciate each and every one of you. The fundraising you do annually for Tuskegee University means a lot, as well as you guys tuning in to the TU football, baseball, softball, basketball, and volleyball games throughout the season and the school year right here on GTSN. If you're an alumni that owns a business, you can partner with us and get a shout out on the air or commercials airing during our show. Live stream, play-by-play, and so much more by emailing us right now. You can do so at goldentigersportsnetwork@gmail.com. So please do that and keep repping your chapter. And may the best one win. Still to come, we go inside the vault for much more on the history of this longtime rivalry. Don't go anywhere.
C-SPY is a prestigious scholarship, a world-class leadership training program, and a ticket to a rewarding career as an officer in the United States Coast Guard. C-SPY is an opportunity for students attending minority-serving institutions that goes beyond paying for 2 years of tuition and other college expenses. Once accepted, you'll be a member of the Coast Guard, earning a full-time salary, plus medical benefits and a housing allowance. While continuing your full-time studies, you'll get to learn about life in the Coast Guard firsthand. You'll quickly find that the Coast Guard is unique from the other military branches. It's a different kind of service, with crews of like-minded people who perform life-saving missions every day and protect our environment and communities. If you're ready to step up as a leader and help us make the world a better place, then visit gocoastguard.com/CSPI to learn more or talk to a recruiter.
As we prepare to go inside the vault, we say thanks to former TU Sports Information Director Arnold Houston for his insights and definitely being a historian of the game, as well as current SIDs at Tuskegee, Jordan Benson, and Morehouse's SID, A.D. Drew, for their attention to detail. It's almost that time. Time to open up the vault to see some classic moments in the Tuskegee Morehouse series. This classic began in 1936. But the rivalry dates all the way back to 1902, with the exception of the COVID year. It's been running annually. It's the oldest black football classic, the granddaddy of them all. Only the Rose Bowl that dates back to 1902, the Orange Bowl goes back to 1916, and the Sugar Bowl in the early 30s have a longer streak. And those don't have the same 2 teams meeting each year on a neutral site. So let's go back to the first classic in this series. Oh my, it was an amazing game played in Columbus, Georgia. Of course, the series also played games in Birmingham over the years as entertainment for black servicemen and women, and in recent years as a college scholarship fundraiser for the minorities as they get a chance to give back. Thus, that was given to us. Early score in that first game was 5-0, a shutout. Yeah, it was a pitcher's duel. And in the inaugural game in 1936, it was a nail-biter. 7-6 was the final score of that one. But now it's time for us to take a look at some most recent contests.
Terrific college football matchup out of the SIAC. The Golden Tigers of Tuskegee meet the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College. third down and goal, and now the line of scrimmage is back to the 3. Play action. Jones, the flip to the end zone. Touchdown, Tuskegee. Bad snap. Ball is blocked and recovered by Morehouse, and Morehouse is going to take this one in for the tying touchdown. 13.4 seconds to go.
That's smart. If they botch the snap or anything, it's second down, you'll have the ball again.
There is Travis Gums, 2 of 5 on the season with a long of 40. This will be a 19-yard attempt from the right hash. Good snap. Kick is up. Hit the crossbar. And good! Knocked it in through the side pocket. 3-ball side pocket shot. A 19-yard field goal with 13.4 seconds to go. Apparently is going to give Tuskegee a 17-14 win over Morehouse. The band is now all fired up. They had to stop the band a while ago because they were making so much noise. Squib kick. And this one will be fielded by Rogers. The clock has expired. The ball goes out of the end zone, and the game is over. A safety has been called on that final return attempt by Rogers. So that will make our final score this afternoon 19-14.
This rivalry is bigger than the moment. It's about history, legacy, and respect. And it's about reclaiming momentum for a team that was picked to finish third in the conference. It's time to get that dub, TU, in the 113th meeting of these two storied programs. It's time for my final thoughts. You know, these fans have been tailgating all day long, so you know they're going to be ready, and there'll be a certain type of energy inside the stadium for the second time this season. Tuskegee hosting a game of this magnitude inside the Cramton Bowl. It's a primetime encounter with a lot on the line. You remember week 0, the come-from-behind victory over Winston-Salem State right here inside this facility. But there's more than pride on the line tonight. There's pressure. The Golden Tigers are coming off of 3 straight losses, and they struggled offensively in the first half versus a very tough and gritty winless Fort Valley State. Now the Golden Tigers face another squad searching for their first win. TU has got to get it going and get some rhythm offensively and keep it going for 60 minutes. Every Saturday is special, but this one sets the tone for the rest of the season. It's truly a must-win situation. Charles Ward and Mark Lassiter are standing by to bring you countdown to kickoff of this historic first ever Morehouse Tuskegee Classic meeting right here in Montgomery. I'll rejoin you at halftime. Until then, for the hard-working crew, we thank you for tuning in to TU Game Day Live presented by the U.S. Coast Guard. All right, Golden Tigers, it's time to get our 3rd victory of the season. My advice is simple. Just land this one like the airmen used to, with precision and pinpoint accuracy. Go Tuskegee!
with over a nation-leading 714 wins, 12 HBCU national championships, and 28 SIAC titles. The Golden Tigers are set to add another trophy to the crowded Tuskegee mantle with a championship run this season. As they do so, the Golden Tiger Sports Network is ready to bring you all the action from the gridiron, from every play to every touchdown. GTSN will be there with all of the excitement of Tuskegee football, and our coverage begins right now. Let's go inside the stadium. Here with the call, GTSN's Charles Ward and Mark Lassiter.
And welcome everybody to the Booster Displays TU Countdown, the kickoff show. Just a few moments from kickoff here again at the Cramton Bowl. Glad you could join us on GTSN. Charles Ward alongside Mark Lassiter. Mark, question is, did you ever leave this place the last time we were here?
Charles, it's great to be back with you here in Montgomery, Alabama, and I have a feeling that if the great American philosopher Yogi Berra was here, former Yankee catcher, he'd say it's like deja vu all over again. This is Tuskegee's second consecutive week playing a winless team, playing Morehouse coming in at 0-4. They may have learned a valuable lesson against Fort Valley State. Do not take a winless team lightly.
Indeed, you're right. Fort Valley winless last weekend, but not anymore. We're live here at the 86th Annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. And you heard Charles McNeil reference that in the pregame show. It depends on where you're from in terms of who gets called first. They got it marked at midfield as Morehouse Tuskegee Classic. Either way, we're glad you're here for our coverage.
And wasn't this at one time called the Morehouse Tuskegee Classic?
It was, yeah.
So they've gotten a little more formal tonight. Sure. It's now Morehouse Tuskegee Classic.
Yeah. They had a couple of years where it was definitely branded that way. But two of the most iconic HBCUs in all the country here are meeting in Montgomery.
Number 86 here in Montgomery at the Cramton Bowl. We have a very comfortable evening. The temperature was listed at 82 degrees, Charles, but I have a sense that it's closer to 75 with the breeze that's coming into our booth. It's an overcast day, so it's a very comfortable evening for football.
Indeed it is. We'll see how that plays in terms of the players themselves. Seen a lot of cramps going on early on in the season with the warmer weather. Maybe different here tonight at the Cramton Bowl. This is the 115th meeting between these squads, 86th inside of this classic. And Tuskegee coming into this football game, Mark, on a 3-game losing streak and in desperate need of a win.
And in desperate need of finding a quarterback, because we found out right before kickoff that Tuskegee's normal starter won't be playing. He'll be replaced by backup quarterback Bryson McGrew, who is out of Montgomery. He attended Percy Julian High School. That's only about 1.5 miles away from the Cramton Bowl, so he's right back at home.
Indeed, he's played here several times in the Cramton Bowl as well, so that may bode well for Tuskegee that the freshman has at least some experience inside this facility. Raekwon Bill, as you referenced, out waiting for the results of an MRI on Monday to find out the status of him going forward for Tuskegee. They meet the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College, as you referenced, under Terrence Mathis, 0-4 on the season. Last weekend played Edward Waters right down to the wire, led at a part of that ball game, but lost at 27-24. And as you referenced to Fort Valley, this is a team that does not reflect an 0-4 season.
Well, you mentioned Terrence Mathis, the former Atlanta Falcon receiver. He's in his second year at Morehouse. And above all else, I'd like to see Morehouse give Terrence Mathis at least 4 years to institute his strategy and changes to this program, which has struggled mightily over the last few seasons.
Yeah, I had a chance to do a ball game for them a couple of weekends ago, and they looked very good in that ball game. They wound up losing it to Kentucky State 35-17. But as I was doing that ball game, it reminded me so much of what we've seen with the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. Morehouse good between the 20s, just not able to punch it in to get the kind of scores, the quality scores they want, meaning touchdowns.
Well, Morehouse would say, I've got 99 problems, and offense is one. They've only scored 60 points all season and 7 touchdowns, coming in averaging 15 points a game. So if there's anything that they want to correct, like Tuskegee, which has struggled also on offense, Morehouse wants to see if they can get on the good foot behind their running game.
You talk about the running game for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. Over the last 3 ball games in which they've lost, they've only average 40 yards rushing per ball game, and that certainly won't get it done in the SIAC.
Every week I take a peek at the SIAC stats and just how teams measure up. And the thing that jumped out at me this week, Tuskegee is next to last in rushing. They're only averaging 59 yards per game. We've seen them struggle. And unfortunately, Tuskegee's young offensive line, specifically the right side of the line, is still getting in sync. But I would imagine that with a new starting quarterback, Tuskegee definitely wants to see if they can get their run game on track against the Maroon Tigers.
Yeah, Golden Tigers with that complement of backs in the backfield with Johnny Morris, and Morris is listed as questionable for this afternoon's ball game. But Shaquille Rouser, Ronaldo Spivey, Zena Mulba out for this ball game as well. So Leverett and Sellers, all of those going to be asked to really step up, where Morris and Mulba may be absent with play. So we'll see how that plays out for that backfield for Tuskegee. Talk about Tuskegee coming into this ball game under head coach Aaron James. They are 4-2 when they play in night ball games, so they're hoping that this one into the night will lead to a win into the column for Tuskegee as they get set to meet Maroon Tigers.
If I had one wish for this game, it would be that Tuskegee did not show up with the black jerseys with the red numerals outlined in white. So to our listening audience, you may want to forgive us. We'll beg your forgiveness in advance for any number sluggishness in identification tonight.
Golden Tigers, there's your reference, dressed in black, numbers in crimson, outlined in gold. But it's difficult to get those numbers seen here, but we hope that the lights, once they come on, will give us some assistance there. The Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College, black trunks for them, jerseys in white, numbers in that maroon, and that black helmets for the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College as the captains make it out to midfield to conduct the coin toss. Golden Tigers at 2-3 overall and 1-2 in the SIAC. The Maroon Tigers 0-4, 0-2 in the SIAC. So Tuskegee in a need for a win this afternoon, trying to see if they can get it. They're not out of the picture in terms of conference play by any stretch of the imagination. But the first thing that has to take place is Tuskegee got to take care of its own business.
And I think Tuskegee, Charles, has got to be thinking the C word, and that's confidence, because the body language at the end of the Fort Valley game was really kind of depressing to me from up in the booth. They've had a week to recover to see if they can get their minds right and approach this game with a fresh start, going up against a team that they would traditionally consider a team that they should beat. But Morehouse should not be taken lightly.
Indeed, you're right. TU leading the series against the Maroon Tigers. 77-37 ties. Teams have met over the 114 times. This time they're looking for their fourth straight win here in the Classic over Morehouse. Classic's been moved around a bit. First time here in Montgomery, coming out of Columbus the year prior to that. Long history down in Columbus. It was kind of paused there at the pandemic period, and then they went to Birmingham. And now one year back at Columbus last year, now in Montgomery. We'll see how long that relationship lasts here from Montgomery, which has really become a bedrock for classic football games throughout the course of the football season.
Well, I'm pleased to see people still streaming into the stadium right before kickoff. We've got a decent crowd right up the street, about a mile and a half away. Alabama State is celebrating their homecoming against Bethune-Cookman. So this is HBCU Classic weekend here in Montgomery.
Indeed, you're right. Congratulations to Alabama State. The Hornets winning that ball game 52-28 over Bethune-Cookman at homecoming. So festive environment in Montgomery. And one of these teams will be looking to add to these festivities with a win here tonight.
I was thankful driving up to the stadium that in previous years, especially when Coach Prime was at Jackson State, they used the parking lot at the Cramton Bowl for shuttle service back to ASU Stadium. Thankfully, parking was a little bit light this evening.
Just about set for kickoff. Booster displays TU countdown to kickoff just a few moments away. The toss conducted, and Morehouse will kick it away first. That means that the Golden Tigers will have it offensively to start this football game. E.J. Hall stands deep, and so does Devin Cooper, waiting to receive the kick from the Maroon Tigers to get things going. TU going left to right on your listening device in this first quarter of play. As Nicholas Lemons gets set to kick it away for Morehouse. And this one will come down, backpedaling. It's Cooper in the end zone. Devin going to run it out from there. He's at the 10, right side, 15, 20. Got a gap there. Devin to the corner now at the 40. One man to beat at midfield. Devin slides back to the inside and finally pushed out of bounds on the Maroon Tigers into the floor at the 45-yard line. So Devin coming out 2 yards deep in the end zone, and he's gotten it across midfield, and that offense with Tuskegee in good position here to start this football game. They will be led by the freshman quarterback, Bryson McGrew, as they get set to come out to the field. And McGrew will have out of the ball game today. You're talking about that line for Tuskegee. Mark Elliott Howell, the grad student, not playing in the ball game this afternoon. So Joey Anthony, LeBron Merriweather, Chase Johnson, Ivan Williams, and the tight end Gregory King are going to try to provide blocking for McGrew and the running back crew for Tuskegee. But an assessment there on that run back mark, and my oh my, that's going to push the Golden Tigers all the way back to the 15-yard line. Did not see the flag out there.
It was a hold. It was a very late flag.
Wow. So just taking the win already out of Tuskegee on this first assessment of the ball game. So instead of on the Maroon Tigers side of the field, TU from their own 15. They'll keep it on the ground, spinning on the inside on the carry is Rouser. And Shaquille gets it up to the 22-yard line.
Something to look for early, Charles, out of the freshman quarterback McGrew is the tempo that Tuskegee decides to run their offense with. They like to go up-tempo, looking to the sideline for play calls.
Rouser got it up to the 23. Pick up of 8 on that carry by Shaquille. They'll go back to the same side of the field, right side. Second level of the defense. Looks like that's going to be close enough for that first down as Rouser runs it to the right, and they move the chains as a result.
Tempo sometimes, Charles, is about the small things, the details. The center quarterback exchange has to be consistent, with McGrew and Merriweather being the trigger points for that offense.
First down pickup by Rouser on the right side of the football now at the 26th. The initial drive of the football game. Glad you could join us for our coverage on GTSN. Tripped to the left of the quarterback, McGrew. First and 10. They flank it out in the flats with a pass. That one's going to be incomplete. Trying to cover it to make sure it wasn't a fumbled football.
I'm glad you mentioned the trips receivers to the left side. Something else to look for is how the receivers for Tuskegee are able to gain separation on short drops. They've had some difficulty with that, drawing defenders close to one another. If you're going to bunch receivers, you're going to have to be decisive about blocking and separation.
So they gave McGrew an opportunity there when a little short hitch pass out in the flats. That one goes incomplete. So with 13:43 left in the first quarter, Tuskegee, first drive of the football game, had a good return, but that was nullified by a penalty, and they're at their own 26 now, facing second down and 6. Snap to McGrew, looks to his left. Here comes the pressure. He'll step up. It's got some space left side. He'll run it. He's at the 30, looking for the marker. Steps out of bounds near the 38-yard line, and that's a good enough run from the freshman for first down.
And there was nice work by Jermaine Hardy Jr., the wide receiver for Tuskegee, downfield. Once he saw his quarterback take it down and run, Hardy was looking to throw a block right at the 35-yard line. Got a block. First down, Tuskegee.
So the line of scrimmage now the 37. 13:20 remaining first quarter. First possession of the game. It's been all Tuskegee so far. Pistol for McGrew. Joined by Rouser in the backfield. They bring a man in motion now. The ball fake it there. Dumps it up. Got a man there. E.J. Hall with the catch. Hall slides back to the inside of the 40. Down at the 31-yard line.
Nice scissors action by Tuskegee on the ball fake. Running receivers, crossing, and then going to the short zone. Another first down for the Golden Tigers.
They get it back across midfield for the second time in this first quarter. At the 32. Hall with the one-handed grab there. They'll go on the ground. Rouser looking for space. Left flag tossed in at the back of the play. Morehouse trying to rip that football free from Rouser.
Although a flag comes in at the end of that play, let's go back to that word tempo. Tuskegee's getting to the line of scrimmage, not wasting a lot of time looking to the sidelines. They're going on short counts, and as a result, Morehouse is on their heels.
We'll check the assessment here. Tuskegee already hit with that big penalty on the initial kickoff. And a second holding call here against Tuskegee. We'll push them further back, closer to midfield after they set this football.
Rolling Vermette offensive lineman for Tuskegee is going to be caught with a hold, 6'4", 300-pounder. Tuskegee, as it stands, will have a first and about 17.
TU fifth in the conference in penalties, 26 coming into today's ball game. Already hit with 2 in this first possession.
Oh, let's go ahead and round up the first and 20.
Okay, we'll call it that. I think that's what they've done on the boards. Line of scrimmage is the 42. Snap, quick hitch out in the flats. Pass going to be caught there. Turning upfield after the catch, nicely done. And still fighting for extra yardage there is Sellers coming out of the backfield.
McGrew doing an excellent job of hitting Sellers out of the backfield in stride so Sellers could pick up an additional 6 yards after the catch.
Nice execution there by TU. Got some of that penalty back there. It'll be 2nd down and 12 now. Send the tight end to the left side. That's King. And they'll slot 2 other receivers to the left of McGrew. Flags at the line of scrimmage, and we've got motion there for Tuskegee up front.
Before the snap, Tuskegee was lined up on the near hash mark. They had 3 wide receivers to the right. They sent all 3 receivers to the left. Took too much time, procedure penalty.
So 3 penalties in this first quarter to play for TU. Own worst enemy at this point. Let's see if they can overcome the penalties, though, and continue with this drive.
And definitely overcome the pre-snap penalties. It's okay you get the physical calls, but that's just a simple lineup call.
Nice call. Snap to McGrew. They'll keep it on the ground. Sellers, left side. Point of contact at the 40-yard line. May have gotten a yard. Not much more on that right side of that Morehouse defense.
First big 3rd down decision for the Golden Tigers.
It'll come. They'll have it at the 39. They got to get it all the way down to the 22 for a first down. So this may be the longest pass attempt by McGrew. He got that pass to Hall, but it was a short pass. EJ with the run afterwards to gain most of that yardage, but he'll have to get this football upfield to try to get it to that marker. 3rd and 17 showing on the scoreboard. Trips to the bottom of the screen for McGrew. He's in shotgun. He'll take the snap. Steps up in the pocket's got some time. Now pressure from behind. He'll roll right side, dumps it upfield, and throws it incomplete. Didn't have any space to run. Rouser was just out there in a little curl route about 5 yards in front of McGrew, but his pass goes incomplete.
There's going to be an interesting matchup to watch. Joel Jones, the cornerback for Morehouse, was matched up against E.J. Hall, one of the best receivers for Tuskegee at the snap. Came up and showed almost a bump and run physique against E.J. Hall, throwing the timing of his pattern off.
Tuskegee kept the football for 4 minutes and 30 seconds in that initial drive, but they'll have to punt this one away as Brent comes on to do that. Cullum 3rd in the conference in punting. First opportunity this evening in the Morehouse Tuskegee Classic. Cullum with a good high kick, trying to get it inside the 20. This one kicks, sits up at the 10, rolls upfield to about the 12-yard line, and that's where Morehouse has its first possession. So Tuskegee not able to come away with any points, but they'll pin the Maroon Tigers at the 11-yard line to start their first drive in this football game. Nothing score. They'll be led by quarterback Miles Scott, the junior. Scott's 3rd in the SIAC and 56 of 190 coming into this afternoon's ball game last weekend against Edward Waters, 19 of 40 in that losing contest. So he'll settle under center on this first play, and they'll keep it on the ground. Right side. Check that run out. That's Woodford there. Woodford on the carry for Morehouse. Wasn't quite sure who would be starting for them. It's either Woodford, who had that carry, or Chase Devon. So Woodford getting the start for them this afternoon on his first carry. No gain on the play.
Right off the top, I like how Miles Scott of Morehouse, the quarterback, carried through his ball fake, showing bootleg after he handed the ball off. Miles Scott threw for 334 yards against Kentucky State.
He'll wind up in shotgun this trip. They go right to left. They send a man in motion. Logan to the right side, looking that way. Scott steps up, got some space. He'll tuck and run. Slides at the 17-yard line. That's where they'll put him down after he had to run that one for Morehouse. Good coverage for Tuskegee in the secondary. That'll bring up a third and about 6 here for the Maroon Tigers.
That slide by Miles Scott lets me think that he has some baseball in his resume, because he did that very artfully on one knee, pop back up. Nice pop-up slide for a quarterback.
Oh, yeah, nice call. That's exactly what I was going to say. Did you see the pop-up? Yeah, it was real good. Don't believe he's part of the baseball program, but maybe a pitch running assignment in his career at Morehouse. Third down and 5. Scott with the snap, fires toward the sideline. Got a man there. Catch going to be made by Kareem Brunson, their leading receiver. Brunson about a half yard shy of the marker, or are they going to give him that? It looks like they're trying to pull the chains, and he's got enough for the first.
Give Brunson credit for making the catch over his head, and then with his back to the sideline, having enough presence to understand where the marker was, got 1 foot in bounds as he was going out of bounds away from his quarterback.
Brunson leading them as a receiver, 12 catches on the season, 272 yards, 4th in the SIAC. Yeah, you're talking about that Kentucky State ball game. I had a chance to do that ball game for Morehouse, and Scott had a real good performance throwing that football. They'll keep it on the ground this time. Woodford looking for space left side. Tuskegee knocking him down near the 25-yard line. Pick up of about a yard and a half.
So watching him against Kentucky State, what was your impression of his release time?
Oh, it was really good. Yeah, he was really good. He's got all the fundamentals of a solid quarterback. This is a team, as you referenced, at 0-4, but they have growing pains is what they have. They're starting to really get their rhythm on offense. So this is going to be a challenge for Tuskegee this afternoon. Or afternoon giving away to evening here. 2nd and 8. We're at 7:38 left in this first quarter. Scott in the pocket, drops, slides to his left, raises, fires through it behind, but the catch is going to be made by Brunson. He's in the middle of the field now. Brunson at the 41-yard line. Nice job by him to trail back toward the quarterback. As we got an injured Tuskegee player down at the 35. Good execution there by Scott to find the space and get it into Brunson.
One thing you notice about Scott, immediately he has quick feet. As he was rolling to the near sideline, backpedaling, he got in about 6 steps really quickly, keeping his balance and having enough presence of mind to find a receiver on the improvisation.
Injured players, Antonio Knight for the Golden Tigers, caught up under his own power and heads to the sideline for TU. And Tuskegee still on defense as Morehouse, their first possession of this first quarter, and they're trying to put together a sustained drive. Vinny, the tight end, goes in motion. They'll go run at that side. Woodford, second wave of the Tuskegee defense, tripped up near the 45-yard line. Nice pickup on that first down play for Morehouse.
So you know I hate numbers, but Morehouse comes into this ball game only 26% on third down conversions. So far, this drive does not have the complexion of a team that struggles on third down so much. They look very confident on this first drive.
And just listening to head coach Terrence Mathis yesterday at the press conference, that's what he was talking about, is just this team is just really starting to come together and starting to execute. And one of the factors is what you do on third. They'll have a 2nd and 7 here on the ground. They lost the football. Tuskegee diving on it. I think TU got it. We'll see who comes away with. Tuskegee saying that they have it. It's a scrum for it, and Tuskegee does have the football on the fumble.
I think we put the kibosh on them.
Yeah.
Just when we were singing their praises on how good they were getting confidence on third down. Morehouse gives the ball up. Tuskegee takes over on the turnover.
Yeah, they do. There was a handoff attempted there by Scott into Woodford, but they just miscued on it, and TU right there to fall on it. So Tuskegee, 6:18 left in this first quarter now. They'll have it on the Morehouse side of the 50 at the 46-yard line.
Would this qualify as a golden opportunity for the Golden Tigers?
Yeah, you can beat that. That's right. Before they take advantage of this golden opportunity, timeout on the field. We'll step out for our first break as well. This is Tuskegee football on the Golden Tiger Sports Network. We are back live at the Cramton Bowl here in Montgomery, Alabama, the 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. So glad you could join us. And Mark, Tuskegee creating that situation where they're giving it back to the offense after taking that fumble.
I was thinking during the timeout, they have a new regulation for Alabama State's homecoming that tents have to be deconstructed by 10 p.m. So people leaving the Alabama State homecoming game might as well come over to the Cramton Bowl and at least catch the second half of our game.
Sure, why not? Football's in the air. The proximity is just so close.
Where else are you going to go in Montgomery on a Saturday night and a fall evening?
Sure. 6:18 left, first quarter to play. Chance for us now to go with this week's Alumni Chapter Challenge trivia question. And the question is this. This is a true or false one here. Coach Cleve Abbott's innovative offense was centered around the wishbone formation at Tuskegee. True or false?
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Kick him out the classroom. Give it to you one more time. True or false? Coach Cleveland Abbott's innovative offense was centered around the wishbone formation at Tuskegee. And the class clown will have the answer for you sometime in the second quarter.
Speaking of clowning, Tuskegee wants to take advantage of Morehouse being clowned on offense with the fumble and the turnover early. 6:18 remaining in the first quarter. Tuskegee showed nice rhythm on their first drive, only to have it bogged down as a result of a penalty. Now they take over deep in Morehouse territory.
Third fumble of the season for the Maroon Tigers. Tuskegee now with the football at the 41 of Morehouse. The freshman McGrew in shotgun. Sends Rouser out the right. Pumps that way, fakes there, going up top. And I got a man behind the defense, but he threw it too deep. And possible interception there. I don't think the defender was able to hang on to the football. Back covering was Vincent Clark for the Maroon Tigers. It was thrown directly to him. He just didn't catch it.
I like what McGrew did also on the ball fake. Nice shoulder fake before he released that long pass all the way down to about the 20-yard line.
Yeah, they had Rouser going out to the left side. Nice pump and then look off there with that. Just did not connect on that pass. TU lucky to have this football as a result because he threw that one right to Clark. They'll go on the ground. Rouser looking for space at the corner. Nice cut by Rouser. Rouser past the first down marker inside the 30 down near the 28.
I like how McGrew rode the handoff an extra few counts before he decided to actually make the handoff, giving his runner a few extra yards to the sideline.
Rouser able to beat that defense to the corner. Nice little fake toward the inside and sprints to the corner for the first down pickup at the 27.
Play had a bit of a wishbone feel to it.
Okay. Oh, you're giving something away on that, huh? On the inside. Listen, it's going to be a touchdown run by the quarterback. McGrew able to just keep it and runs it left side, and TU scores first here.
McGrew's ball handling ability pays off for the Golden Tigers.
What a maneuver by the freshman on the ball fake. Runs it in for TU. So hello, Tuskegee. McGrew familiar with the turf here at Cramton Bowl. And a good ball fake there. Nobody near him on the run. So TU up first on the point after. It's Ryans and Larkin true as usual, and TU takes a 7-0 lead. Big opportunity for Tuskegee, as you referenced, Golden, and this time they cash in.
That play was actually set up by the previous play, Charles, where McGrew rode the handoff an extra few steps. He's very alert at reading downfield. On the touchdown, he's able to read, react, and take it himself.
Hometown boy returns and gets the first score of the football game. McGrew, the freshman from right out of here in Montgomery, and TU leads 7-0 over the Maroon Tigers. Took advantage of that fumble from the 41. A couple of plays later, the freshman in for the touchdown run left side.
So McGrew attended Percy Julian High School, formerly Robert E. Lee High School, which is only a mile and a half away from the Cramton Bowl. So he's got to feel, you've heard the expression, playing in your backyard. It couldn't be more true for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers quarterback this evening in Montgomery.
McGrew, 27 yards out on that carry for the touchdown. TU strikes first here.
And as you know, Charles, when you're playing in your backyard, you have a tendency to improvise and be very creative with plays. It reminds me of playing touch football in the street. McGrew, on the touchdown run, just did an excellent job of reading the field, surveying the defense while deciding whether to hand that ball off, made the right decision. Excellent play for a freshman quarterback in his first start.
Absolutely, showing some quickness on that run as well. So Tuskegee now already surpassing that rushing average that you were talking about in the pregame show at 50-something yards per game, already at 63 in this contest against Morehouse.
What a welcome relief. We've seen some games for the Golden Tigers where they didn't break 25 yards and a half. So for them to establish the run early, I thought that would be one of the keys to this game. Also, it gives their offensive line a chance to get out and make blocks in an aggressive stance as opposed to retreating in pass protection. Like to get those big guys out front. They love to run and block as opposed to retreat and react.
Effective work by the line up front that time. TU up, and Ryan's on now to kick it away to the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse. Morehouse will have two return men back. Donovan Calhoun, one of them. And he's joined by Zion Bowie. Bowie, the senior. Got to keep an eye on him. He is a return specialist for Morehouse.
So what's the Tuskegee drive to Montgomery, about 30 miles?
I think about that, right at 28 maybe.
Got a pretty good turnout tonight so far.
Bowie going to let this one bounce, and it'll go out of bounds. So Larkin with that kick, not his best effort. He's trying to drive it to the end zone, but not able to get to the end zone. So Morehouse will have this football at 35.
One of the barometers for HBCU football is always keep an eye on people milling around the parking lot. The people that love to make a fashionable entrance around midway through the first quarter. And there are still people on the street that runs adjacent to the Cramton Bowl on the stadium end zone. So we could have a near capacity crowd before this is all over.
Indeed, you're right. To our left is where the entrance is, and you can see people are still coming in with a long line of folks trying to get in here. 5:34 left, first quarter of play. So after the players get set, well, I tell you what, Tuskegee with another break there after the kick that went out of bounds. Morehouse was going to have it at the 35, but they committed an infraction on the return.
Not so fast.
Sure.
A great man once said.
Slow down. So that'll push them back to the 20 now. And it's all about field position in terms of where you start. 5:34 remains in this first quarter. Tuskegee with a good start here. They lead at 7-0. Snap to Scott. He'll take a drop, looking upfield. Shoots it. They got a man on one-on-one, but overshoots everybody by about 10 yards. He's trying to get it downfield. Dallas, or Eric Stevens, the wide out. The sophomore couldn't catch up with it, but he was covered step for step by that Tuskegee secondary.
Also give credit to Marcus Hawthorne of Tuskegee. Came on a delayed blitz from his defensive back position and got in the face of the quarterback, deciding to throw that ball deliberately long on the pressure.
So that pass goes incomplete. Coverage that time downfield by Antonio Knight. That'll make it second down. Scott going to go in the center this time for Morehouse. Quick pitch right side, trying to get it to Woodford. He'll cut back to the left side, trying to get past the initial wave, but a good open field tackle there by Tuskegee with Quincy Crawford coming from that cornerback spot to cut the legs from Woodford from under him.
So Woodford is a name we're going to hear a lot this evening. He averages 6 yards per carry, which is 5th in the SIAC. Had the choice of going to a couple of other schools, but picked Morehouse and really made a decision to go for the education. He said great men leave there not only with a name, but a foundation of just being a great person. So he said that's something he really wants to live by. So Woodford coming to Morehouse to be a better man.
Well, right now, the better man was Tuskegee defensively. They lost a yard on the play at Woodford. Scott on the drop. He'll tuck and run now. Slides in the middle of the field on one hand, diving close to the first down marker, but about a yard shy of it. Needed to get it to the 30.
Scott seemed to lose his balance as he was really falling forward at about the 25. Took a few extra steps. It's going to be marked about 2 yards shy of the first down.
So Morehouse, pent on their side of the 50, will have to punt it here. It'll be their first punt of the football game. So Tuskegee, after the defensive stop, set to go back on offense. Hall stands at the 35 on the other end of the field. It's a high snap, angling it away, trying to get it away from Hall. It'll bounce near the 50-yard line, out of bounds on the Tuskegee side of the field. That one went directly out of bounds, so we'll see where they put it out in flight.
There are two types of punters, Charles. There are punters that are excellent at punting on the run, and those that are not. That time the Morehouse punter took a few steps to his right, didn't really get the forward motion that he wanted, and that it was a very short punt, which will give Tuskegee another possession in Morehouse territory.
Sevis Burrell, the punter for Morehouse, 5th in the conference. And as you referenced, Tuskegee will have it near the 46-yard line to start this drive on the Morehouse side of the 50. 3:46 left, first quarter of play. TU leads at 7-0. Timeout here. Take a break here on our coverage on GTSN.
Broadcast coverage of Golden Tigers athletics is brought to you by the following. The U.S. Coast Guard, always ready. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. Alabama Power, for the service of Alabama. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Yellowwood, a better backyard awaits. Home Depot, how doers get more done. Utilities Board of Tuskegee, purpose, progress, people. Coca-Cola, enjoy the moment with a Coca-Cola. Tuskegee Federal Credit Union, serving the people of Tuskegee and the surrounding community since 1938. TLAT Media, step by step, TLAT Media makes your business grow. And by Advertising Solutions, from concept to conversion, we are your advertising solution.
Back live here at the Cramton Bowl here in Montgomery, Alabama, Mark. We thought that on that kickoff of the punt that the football went out near the 50-yard line. Didn't see a flag, but Tuskegee going to be starting this drive from its own 40. Surely the football did not go that deep downfield. It went out closer to midfield. Instead, on a first down play, TU going to keep it on the ground. Sellers works it left side, avoids a tackler at the secondary level of Morehouse's defense, but a flag coming in at the back of that play.
Spot where normally you have a hold being called, flag right at the 41-yard line, directly below our booth. So Tuskegee on a huge pickup, nice chunk on first down. We only have to bring it back.
As you referenced with the hold, so still not sure about what transpired on the punt. But it had to be some assessment of some sort against Tuskegee. They started to drive at the 40, got a good run left side by Sellers, but that's nullified by a hold here. So TU pushes back to their own 30 now. And Arnaud, the senior from Lawrenceville, Georgia, has that run taken off the books. So it'll make it first and 20 now for Tuskegee from their 30. McGrew has a man in motion. They'll pitch it right side. Looking for space is Sellers. Sellers bumped once after he got up about 4 yards on that carry and knocked down near the 34 right side.
Tuskegee sent E.J. Hall in motion from left to right. Now, E.J. Hall is only 5'11", 175, and sometimes not the best idea to have a 175-pound player as a lead blocker because he ran into someone from Morehouse and just hit a wall and bounced back about 3 yards.
I think that was the idea. You don't have to take him out. Just engage him, right?
Just get in the way.
Sure. For the team. That pickup guy makes it 2nd and 16 after the carry by Sellers right side.
But I give Hall A for effort.
Oh, yeah. Got to. McGrew, screen pass. They set this one left side. Sellers with the football, looking for some space, and wrapped up there by Morehouse. Maroon Tigers smelled that one, saw it coming at the initial line, able to adjust and string it out toward the sideline. So a couple of yards picked up there. That'll make it 3rd down and about 12.
Give credit to Yusuf Sharif II, the defensive lineman from Morehouse that really got in the way of a play that I thought was developing very well on the screen for Tuskegee. But Sharif got in the way, created some traffic, allowed his players enough time to come and clean up.
Nice call on that last, because that's the first screen we've seen this year out of that Tuskegee offense, and that one, as you referenced, it's developed well at the line of scrimmage. That'll make it 3rd and 12. 1:50 remaining in this first quarter of play. TU with a 7-0 lead. Flags and whistles at the line of scrimmage as McGrew took the snap. And Tuskegee took a timeout just before I think that play clock was about to run out on him.
Going through the Morehouse roster, sometimes you get a feel for the personality of a team just by looking at the classification. Morehouse has a very young team on the field, a lot of freshmen, sophomores. So you can see how Terrence Mathis is trying to build this team in his own image. I would expect that in another year or two, as these players mature and if they can stay in the program, Morehouse could turn into something special.
And you referenced that in your pregame comments about Tuskegee being patient enough with Coach Mathis to allow that program to really form under his leadership. A.D. Harold Ellis likely there at Tuskegee, both coming out of the professional ranks in terms of play. They know how long it takes to really to get your stamp on a program.
Another word comes to mind for Morehouse, infrastructure. My understanding is that they don't have a weight room. So how do you compete in the SIAC without a weight room and have a football team that you have high expectations for?
Right now, Morehouse trailing the Golden Tigers. Tuskegee with a 7-0 lead. After the timeout, it'll be McGrew, the freshman, back in at quarterback, facing a 3rd and 12 in the pocket. McGrew's going to roll right side, fires upfield, got Hall there at midfield. EJ with a nice move. Now works it toward the outside. Finally gets wrapped up near the 37-yard line, but another big run after Hall on the catch.
What you notice about McGrew is that he has such a short and quick delivery that he's able to improvise. It doesn't take a long time to load up and fire downfield. That time pass was thrown about 10 yards. Big first down for Tuskegee.
E.J. Hall in his own element there. Not great on blocking at the outside, but a wonderful job there. Back across the middle again. Catch going to be made there. I think that's Parker went up for that football, and a lot of traffic on the inside to make the catch for TU.
I think McGrew may have a little bit of basketball in his background also. The way he is handling the ball fakes, he's showing more and more confidence as he goes into formation. Now he's in the shotgun.
That was Rashad Wilson on that grab for TU on the inside. They go on the ground. Sellers left side. Arnott swings it back inside of the 25 down near the 22.
You notice one thing, Charles? Tuskegee has not looked to the sideline for a play call at the line of scrimmage. They're getting to the line. Now, we've talked about this earlier. They're getting to the line. Watch this next play.
See if they go, as you referenced, straight into it. That creates that rhythm for that offense. 1st and 10 here. The freshman McGrew, they go in motion. They're going to go without the look over. Arnott this time runs into some traffic left side, and they slide him out of bounds way back behind the initial line of scrimmage near the 30-yard line.
Although Morris was stopped for negative yardage, I like the tempo of this Tuskegee offense so far this evening. McGrew getting the sideline call right now at about the 30-yard line from the coaches directly. He's about 10 yards from the sideline. We'll come back in. Now it's the end of the quarter, but it's interesting to see how quickly Tuskegee's getting plays in from the sideline this game as opposed to earlier games in the season.
Yeah, a lot of times we've seen that the rhythm just get dissipated because they do take that time to look to the sideline. We'll look to the sideline here, take a break here on our coverage of the Golden Tigers on the Golden Tiger Sports Network. TU leads at 7-0 as we get set to head into the second quarter.
They've also
C SPY is a
something.
prestigious scholarship, a world-class leadership training program, and a ticket to a rewarding career as an officer in the United States Coast Guard. C SPY is an opportunity for students attending minority-serving institutions that goes beyond paying for 2 years of tuition and other college expenses. Once accepted, you'll be a member of the Coast Guard, earning a full-time salary, plus medical benefits and a housing allowance. While continuing your full-time studies, you'll get to learn about life in the Coast Guard firsthand. You'll quickly find that the Coast Guard is unique from the other military branches. It's a different kind of service, with crews of like-minded people who perform life-saving missions every day and protect our environment and communities. If you're ready to step up as a leader and help us make the world a better place, then visit gocoastguard.com/CSPI to learn more or talk to a recruiter.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game. Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make to level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
We head into the second quarter here in Montgomery, Alabama at the 86th Annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. TU leads at 7-0. Mark, you may have noticed those decals on the helmet of the Tuskegee players as Tuskegee is celebrating Student Athlete Mental Health Week. Those decals in commemoration of that. Golden Tigers fans, this marks the beginning of Student Athlete Mental Health Week, celebrated October 4th through the 11th. Tuskegee Athletics is proud to partner with the Helensky Hope Foundation, a powerful initiative committed to ending the stigma surrounding mental health and providing vital resources to student athletes everywhere. Today, our football student athletes are wearing these special decals on their helmet in honor of Helensky's Hope, a reminder that mental health matters both on and off the field. Tuskegee University encourages everyone to take a moment, check in on each other, and remember, it's okay to not be okay. Together, we can continue building a community of care, support, and hope. So they have the decals in recognition of that, and that's such a, you got so many athletes in tennis in particular, an athlete there that had some mental issues but brought that issue to the forefront, and then the same thing with the Olympics in terms of Simone Biles.
What people don't realize is that being a student can be a very stressful experience. I hate to go back to negative news, but when I was a grad student at Cornell, there were 4 suicides one semester. Wow. Pressure on grades. So never underestimate how much self-imposed or otherwise imposed pressure students can be under.
Indeed. I was trying to think of Naomi Osaka in terms of tennis, but
no doubt.
No
doubt.
Yeah, really putting this issue to the forefront. Set for second quarter action here. Our trivia answer to our trivia question coming up here at the next time out. But Tuskegee trying to get its second score of this football game. They are down at the 29-yard line. They're going right to left, second quarter of action. And the freshman McGrew with the snap. Looks to his right, feels the pressure, unloads, through it. Nice pass and good catch there by Wilson with the football. Rashard still working his way down near the 12-yard line. You talk about basketball hops. Wilson showing some there to go up to get that football.
He's got to have hops because Wilson is only 5'8", but that time went over his head at about the 20-yard line, added another 6 yards after the catch. Tuskegee now midway in the red zone.
Down at the 11, just underway second quarter. I think they're going to give that catch to Parker instead for TU. So Preston Parker, the freshman, with that grab down now to the 11. High snap, but they handle it. They get it on the ground. Sellers works his way toward the line of scrimmage. May have gotten a yard, not much more on that left side of the TU offense.
Bryson McGrew, the quarterback for Tuskegee, carrying out his ball fake after the handoff. Something to file away, Charles, as we see not just one play, but regard this next series as a sequence of play calls.
TU on a 2nd down and 8. Get it down there near the 1 for a fresh set of downs. 1 more yard there in the end zone.
McGrew is also not clapping his hands as we've seen Raekwon Beal try to draw the opponent off sides. He's making his play calls at the line of scrimmage without any trickeration.
TU is 66 yards on the ground. They'll keep it on the ground right side. Sellers wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Good defensive work there by the Maroon Tigers up front. And it's Nathan Gardner on that stop. I beg your pardon, Isaiah Reeves on that stop for Morehouse.
Mass substitutions in for Tuskegee on offense. They are showing signs of running a spread formation.
3rd down and 11 after the loss on the run by Sellers on the previous play. So this line of scrimmage will be from the 12 on a 3rd down play. There's the one clap. That first time we saw it from McGrew trying to throw the defense off. And they look to the sideline now for the call. Play clock working its way down to 5. The freshman gets set now, takes the snap. In the pocket, pressure, roll to his left side. It's got some real estate there. They're trying to do a contain on him. Now Sellers scoots out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. So it's going to be field goal time here for Tuskegee.
As McGrew was in the pocket, you could hear the PA announcer say, McGrew is back to pass. I'm sure that the defensive team for Morehouse appreciated that call.
Kind of giving a heads up on it, huh?
You know how linebackers they have the responsibility for shouting out pass if they see the quarterback. They got the PA man doing their work for them.
27-yard effort here by Larkin Ryans. And the kick by TU, and Ryans is on target for Tuskegee. So TU extends this lead to 10-0 over the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College. They come away with some points on this drive.
Ryans with a blast of a kick. That might have been good for about 40-plus the way he hit that.
Yeah. Kicking it right to left, almost hit it out there in that area where the fans are still coming in.
There's the net was down behind the goalpost. Someone may need to get on their job before someone gets an eye put out or something.
No doubt. Tuskegee Federal Credit Union serving the people of Macon County and surrounding areas since 1938 when it first opened doors at Tuskegee Institute. The credit union offers free checking accounts, saving accounts, home mortgages, home refinancing, automobile, signature, and payday alternative loans. And they also have internet teller service. Better than a bank, because when you open an account with us, you become part owner. Tuskegee Federal Credit Union, insured by the National Credit Union Administration, not for profit, not for charity, but for service. For more information, visit www.tuskegeefcu@gmx.com. Glad to have them as a part of our sponsorship team as our coverage continues of Tuskegee football. Mark, we got an open week next week. Remember, we're getting through this season pretty quickly.
Well, I'm still trying to deal with what you just said about payday loans as we are halfway into the season, because it goes really quickly. We're already past the halfway mark. There are only 5 more games to go in this 11-game schedule, but this game shows signs for Tuskegee making some adjustments that could bode very well in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I talked to Coach James on Wednesday of this week, and that's what he was saying. We were talking about where they were in the season and what possibilities were still there. They were still upbeat about the possibility of finishing strong, knowing that that's the first thing they got to do. And with a lot of other teams that are in the top half of the conference still to meet each other on their schedule, something's going to break out with that as well.
They've got to be very encouraged by the play of the freshman starter thrown into the fire due to the injury to the normal starter, Raekwon Beal. And so far, McGrew has run the offense like he's been running it for a couple of years.
McGrew at this point, 6 of 9, throwing for 96 yards, and that long one of 31 to E.J. Hall. Right now, efficiency rating at 156.3, so the freshman on a debut back in his hometown. Good first half of football. This one going to backpedal into the end zone. That time Larkin got all he wanted on that kick and into the end zone. Looking at it was Bowie, but he did not have an opportunity for a return.
McGrew may want to petition A.D. Reginald Ruffin to say, let's play all our home games here. This is in my backyard. I feel good here. I know the turf. I know the stadium. And it's only a mile from my high school.
Sure. Well, we got turf at Abbott Memorial Alumni Stadium, so we'll just lay it in on the turf. We got that part. It's going to come in the A.D. Ruffin's office with that demand. I can see how that conversation will go. You're just a freshman.
You're just a freshman. Get out of here. Get back to practice.
Yeah. Who let you in here? From the 25, Morehouse on the ground. They give it to Woodford. He's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage behind the line after a good surge by that TU defense on the right side.
I like the effort by Ezekiel Moore, number 97 for Tuskegee, cleaning up. One defender had him by the ankle, but Moore was not letting him go any further than that. 2-yard loss.
That'll bring up second down. 11:40 remaining in this first half of play. Tuskegee with a good start here in this 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. 115th meeting of these schools. First meeting back in 1902. Actually got him a loss of 3 on that play last, so a second and third. Scott rolls toward the sideline, fires upfield, and threw it beyond the Morehouse bench. That goes incomplete. That'll be a quick third down coming here for Morehouse.
I'll give credit to Nick Woodford, the running back for Morehouse, who comes in with the accolades on the ground. Did an excellent job of standing his ground and throwing a block, allowing his quarterback to get outside. A lot of backs, especially those that are 5'9", 203 like he is, not as effective at blocking, but Woodford that time did an excellent job.
Tuskegee secondary doing a great job downfield that time as well. Timothy Grayson on that side of the field, joined by Antonio Knight. Good job of coverage, and Quincy Crawford on that side. See if they can do it on this third down play and deny this first down. Scott in the pocket. Scott time, looks upfield, fires it. The pass going to be caught there. Nice job of squaring up for that football. And the catch made near the 40-yard line. And it was Curtis Myers on the grab for Morehouse.
Right before the snap, Antonio Knight Jr. was peeling back. He was about 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. He would have been better served to just stay his ground where he was aligned, because he was too deep to make a play on that third down pickup by Morehouse.
I beg your pardon, it wasn't Myers on the catch. It was Eric Stevens. And Stevens, the sophomore, one of their reliable receivers, he along with Brunson. They go on the ground to Woodford, left side. Woodford hit at the line of scrimmage, spins back to the inside, and no gain on the play.
Tuskegee's doing an excellent job up front, Charles, of getting penetration on the offensive line of Morehouse, not allowing Woodford to get any momentum going north-south. They managed to string him out and get him behind the line of scrimmage a few times.
Yeah, barely got that one back to the line of scrimmage. So it's second down and 10 now for Morehouse with 10:04 left in this first half. TU with a 10-0 lead. Scott, pistol formation. TU showing a coming to linebackers. They'll send them. Scott stops in the pocket now, fires upfield, one-on-one coverage at the sideline and not able to pull it in, trying to get it downfield to Noah Rhodes. And Rhodes can't run under that football. Good coverage downfield by that Tuskegee secondary.
Wow, Scott has a gun. That time he just threw a dart that landed about the 20-yard line, overthrown only about a couple of yards.
Rhodes, the sophomore, had a little bit of space there, but the overthrown football makes it 3rd and 10 now for Morehouse.
We've talked about Morehouse's struggles on third down. Tuskegee has to be aware of it and thinking they want to bring pressure to get in the face of the quarterback.
It came in dead last in the conference, as you referenced, in third down conversions. Timeout taken by Morehouse. They were in jeopardy of that play clock running down. They were slow to get out of the huddle there, so they burned the timeout with 9:45 remaining in this first half. TU with a 10-0 lead. Gray, Langford, Sapp, McGowan, Gray, and Nathanson. Attorneys at law, located on the square in historic Tuskegee, Alabama. Whether personal injury, wrongful death, civil rights, real estate, or probate situation, we are your hometown legal team. Please call 334-727-4830. That's 334-727-4830. Gray, Langford, Sapp, McGowan, Gray, and Nathanson.
That will be next week's trivia question. Can you repeat that again? No, what? Give me those names again.
I'll give it to you again. 3 Grays, a Langford, a Sapp, a McGowan, and a Nathanson. So
that's a starting 5 plus a 6-man.
Oh, no doubt. You start talking about starting 5. That firm started by Fred Gray a renowned civil rights attorney. And that legacy is just continuing with his son. And we send our condolences. Just lost his daughter about a month or so ago, and had a chance to go to Holt Street Baptist Church here in Montgomery on yesterday, and was talking to the proprietor there. We're just talking about the history of Montgomery and where things really started there in terms of those first meetings for the bus boycott. And the name of Fred Gray just kept coming into conversation throughout the conversation. And ironically enough, I just heard a piece on NPR right before I came in there, and they were mentioning Fred Gray as relates to this challenge to Section 2 of the civil rights, or the civil rights legislation from the 60s. So that legacy for Fred Gray and his firm continuing, stemming out of his wonderful work on behalf of the community.
I appreciate you sharing that video clip that you did in front of the church, because you were covering the story behind the story. A lot of times people don't understand how the civil rights movement actually started. It didn't start with the mass movements that we saw broadcast on television. It was a grassroots movement that started on a community-based level.
Yeah, and he's telling me about it. I think it was Reverend Welcher was telling me that it started there, and then because of the coverage in Montgomery, the word got back to Dr. King and their organization, and they showed up like the day before, and Dr. King had like 15 minutes to get his speech together before the crowd that was in the church waiting for them to take that leadership of the boycott. Just wonderful history. If you get a chance to visit there, please do. Back to action, pass batted and out of play left side as Scott was rolling back. TU sent everybody on the blitz that time, and they hurried him to throw it out of bounds.
Tuskegee very intelligently brought pressure, had three men from the right side in the face of the quarterback as he was trying to go in that direction. All he could do was throw it out of bounds.
Yeah, heavy pressure that time by Tuskegee, dialed up at the right time.
And the right place.
Yeah, no doubt. So the buttons being pushed by TU this evening, really working up to this point. 9:40 left in this second quarter. Sparrow to kick it away, almost got blocked that time by TU, but he did get it airborne. It'll hit at the 27 and roll right out of bounds. And the Tuskegee defense gives that football back over to the offense.
Second time we've seen the Morehouse punter shank a punt to the right side of the field. That time his net will be very short. And even though Tuskegee is not close to midfield as they were on the previous drive, they're going to have decent field position to start this next drive.
They'll put it out at the 25-yard line, so TU back on offense. Football at the left hash mark as TU goes right to left on your listening device. With 9:33 left first half of play, TU with a 10-0 lead. So the freshman set to go back to work for Tuskegee.
Three receivers up top.
Joined in the backfield by Rouser. They will give it inside to Rouser. Rouser's second wave of the Morehouse defense now gets pushed toward the sideline. Got about 3 on that initial carry. I'll make it 2nd and 7.
Among the 3 wide receivers that Tuskegee had lined up wide right, they had tight end Gregory King Jr. Now he's 6'4", 250, so it gives the appearance of a wide receiver formation, but it's like sneaking a tight end there or an extra offensive lineman to get blocking.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll see them throw into that situation with King being out there as a blocker when they do the little comeback to the wideout. Second down effort here for Tuskegee from their own 27-yard line. Rouser with a man in motion. They'll run it. He'll keep it himself. Right side, Rouser. A correction on that. Good play there by McGrew. Pass the sticks for the.
Give McGrew a gold star for decisiveness. Once he sees space, he doesn't takes off and he's gone. Picks up a first down.
Yeah, good ball fake as you referenced. And saw that space, took advantage of it. Football now at the 37. Fresh set of downs for TU as we push to 8:20 left first half. Lone receiver at the bottom of this formation. And they'll keep this time on the ground straight ahead. That's Rouser on the carry. And he got about 3 on that initial run.
So, you know, back in the day when you had a turntable that had 33 RPM and 45 RPM?
Yeah.
The Tuskegee offense has gone from 33 to 45 with the insertion of McGrew. It's just a quicker and more decisive offense.
Yeah, you're going to do a lot of People calling in wanting to know what a 33 and a 45 is.
I'm going old school.
Sure. Just tell them back in the day there were these things called records, right?
I showed a record to my daughter. She thought it was a Frisbee.
Yeah. Dangerous looking Frisbee, right? On the left side, Rouser looking for space. Got it past the 40 up to the 41. Runs into the Maroon Tiger pack there. And that'll bring up third down for TU.
I tried to explain how a record was played. I said, well, a needle goes into the grooves and the sound comes through the needle into an amplifier. She looked at me like I was from outer space.
Oh, yeah, sure. Can you imagine? Things have changed. 7:09 left in the first half. TU with the football at their own 41-yard line. 3rd and 6. McGrew in shotgun. 3 receivers again to his right. Now they break it to formation and sliding back that way. Nation across the middle. Now McGrew going to roll right side. Got some space there. Now fires upfield. Got a man behind the coverage. Oh, in stride. EJ. Touchdown TU.
The difference in McGrew is throwing on the run. That time circling to the right side, approaching the sideline, makes a perfectly arced throw for the touchdown, completed at the 10. The rest was history.
E.J. Hall circling, following his quarterback across the field, got into some open space, and as you referenced, McGrew is kind of tiptoeing on his feet and able to loft that football right in stride. Hall with the touchdown grab. TU extends its lead. Ryan's on now for the point after. Larkin. Just as true as gold on that. So TU takes a 17-0 lead.
What McGrew proves the old theory, you don't have to show a big arm. All you have to do is show an accurate arm with the right amount of touch. That time made an accurate throw. His receiver made the catch in stride, and the final 10 yards, you could have just had a party.
59-yard touchdown strike to E.J. Hall. Most of that done by the freshman to give himself enough time to launch that pass downfield. So Tuskegee, excellent job on that possession. Leads it 17-0. Take a quick break here on GTSN.
Hey, Golden Tiger fans. Arthur A.J. Woodson here, class of 2010, current president for the New York Tuskegee Alumni Association, encouraging all other alumni chapters to sign up for this year's Golden Tiger Sports Network Alumni Chapter Challenge, grand prize being a deluxe tailgate experience being held at this year's homecoming. Sign your chapters up now so that you can be a part of the weekly score predictions, trivia during the game, and even have a live check-in during the game on the GTSN if your chapter is hosting a watch party. So sign up and be a part of this year's Alumni Chapter Challenge.
Hi, Tuskegee Nation. I'm Aaron James, head coach at Tuskegee University, and you're watching the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
We are back live here at the 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. And a star is born tonight here, lass.
All I can say is, who knew? Yeah. Bryson McGrew shows up in his first start, a freshman, and is running the Tuskegee offense like he's been here for at least 2 more seasons.
Indeed. He started the scoring out on a 27-yard scamper. And then Ryan hit on a field goal from 27 yards away. And then McGrew back in action, this time on a 59-yard touchdown strike to E.J. Hall. TU leads it 17-0.
I thought one of the keys to his first start would be ball security, but Bryson McGrew is handling the ball like a Harlem Globetrotter. A lot of confidence, making the correct decision, picked up a few key first downs on that first drive that I think drove his confidence higher and higher. And the more he gets snaps, you can see he gets more and more comfortable.
He is definitely relaxed with Tuskegee. Created most of that space to get that pass or the touchdown.
Tuskegee has very quick and gifted receivers. They can get open. The question is, can you find them?
TU with 82 yards on the ground and 155 through the air. Larkin with the kick. And back 2 or 3 yards in the end zone. We'll have a run out this time by Morehouse. Up the middle with the carry is Zion Bowie, and Bowie hit at the 20-yard line, and that's where Morehouse will start this drive.
Looks like Tamarcus Grayson on kick coverage, a linebacker who's 6'3", 220 with a nice open field tackle.
Zion Bowie is their return specialist. He's unafraid to run it out of the end zone for Morehouse. But as you referenced, ran right into Grayson at the 20-yard line, and they knocked him down right in his tracks. So the off defense for Tuskegee back out there now trying to see if they can do a quick 3-and-out for this Morehouse offense to get that football back. Right now it's 6:34 left in the first half. Give that offense another chance to score before the break. Scott in pistol for Morehouse. Looks to his right, fires out in the flats. Dangerous pass. That pass goes incomplete. Was trying to get it out there to Eric Stevens. Stevens not able to hang on it. Good pressure at the corner there by the TU secondary.
You said the magic word at the snap. Tuskegee started cheating its linebackers and corners a hair closer to the line of scrimmage. They had a feeling that Morehouse was going to the quick passing game, and they were right.
Pass was broken up there at the sideline. Good coverage at the side there. Tuskegee, Jalen Neal. So Neal works that. Good defensive work. Makes it 2nd down and 10 here for Morehouse. TU with 4 up front defensively. Now a man in motion. That's Brunson to the left side. Scott looks that way, fires, floats it. Catch going to be made there at the 32-yard line. Going up for that football. And catch was made by Corey Pendergrass, the junior.
Player we haven't called a lot so far this evening, Kickwan Kimber, the linebacker for Tuskegee, was cheating to his right at the snap count. Took about 2 steps in the right direction. A little late on the play, but a very excellent job diagnosing where that play was headed.
Football at the 32 after the catch by Pendergrass. 5:55 left in this first half. Scott with the snap. Across the middle, shoots a pass there to the tight end. Catch made by Vinny, and Vinny got it past the 40, up near the 42-yard line.
Vinny is a load. He's 6'4", 270. So Tuskegee will have their hands full if Morehouse decides to use Vinny in the short zone.
Used him throughout the season. 12 catches on the campaign for the Maroon Tigers. And they integrate him, as you referenced last, into that offense fully. 1st and 10 from the 42. Morehouse with the football. Tuskegee leading at 17-0. Woodford on the ground, met at the line of scrimmage. Good surge there by TU up front to grab him right there behind the line for about a yard loss.
I'm going to go ahead and give the credit to Tamarcus Grayson. Now, Grayson, if I am correct, his dreadlocks are so long that they cover half of his numeral on his jersey. But big number 40 was quick to the point of contact on that last handoff.
So he got about a half-yard loss on that play. That'll make it 2nd and 11 showing on the scoreboard.
So we got to work with black jerseys, red numerals, and dreadlocks and all at the same time.
Get your payday loan for that one. Falling down at the 45, and that pass goes incomplete.
Now, I don't have anything against dreadlocks. Let me be clear. You know, if it's your style, it's your thing, do what you want to do. But as an announcer, we would appreciate if you have dreads, just tie them up so they're above your numeral, and we can give you credit when you make a play.
Make the right call, right?
That's right.
If you
want
your
credit,
name called, move the dreads.
Let us see your number.
Incomplete pass makes it 3rd down and 11.
I'm a huge Bob Marley fan. I love reggae.
As am I. They're going up top, trying to get a man behind the coverage, and overshoots Brunson down near the 20-yard line.
Miles Scott appears to sometimes just throw out of frustration. When he does have time to throw, he has the deep pattern there, but it doesn't seem like he's putting enough accuracy on some of these long throws.
Yeah, he got, in fact, that time Brunson had a little bit of space on the secondary, but the ball just too far overthrown. Not even giving him a chance there. So Sevis Burrell now on to try to punt this football away for Morehouse. Couple of wobbly attempts by him early on. He'll roll to his right and got the kick airborne. His best effort so far. Hall angles right. He'll let it bounce, and it'll head inside the 10. Morehouse trying to get down there before they get into the end zone. They'll wrap it right up at the 1 yard line. So,
speaking of dreads, one of my favorite reggae lines is, "I love the barber, but the barber don't love me."
Oh, wow. Well, what do you do if you got dreads and you're in a barber shop? What can you do? Just line you up in the front?
Get my neck, please.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
4:10 left in this first half. Our answer to our trivia question coming here in just a moment. I told you about this question early on in the ball game. True or false? Coach Cleve Abbott's innovative offense was centered around the wishbone formation at Tuskegee. And Lassiter, what's the truth to that story?
If you said wishbone, nope. Cleve Abbott was famous for his contribution to the T formation, and the T formation is where the quarterback is directly under center, fullback behind him, and two halfbacks on either side, creating a T shape in the backfield. It's known for its power-based running game and deception, and what it also did is stretch the field horizontally and allow for pre-snap motion and created mismatches. So the T formation was very innovative for that time. But let's talk about Cleve Abbott for a second. He was at Tuskegee for 32 seasons.
Sure.
32 seasons, starting in 1923.
And just a phenomenal imprint on Tuskegee athletics overall, and particularly with football. Stadium named in his honor for the work he's done with the Golden Tigers throughout the years. A revered presence at Tuskegee University.
Ball security time as Tuskegee is pinned literally inside their own 1 yard line.
McGrew going to line up in shotgun, which means he's in the end zone to take this snap. Short drop by McGrew in the end zone. Looks upfield, got a man behind the coverage. Overshoots him near the 35, trying to get it to E.J. Hall, but we got a flag far side of the field. But this one came near the line of scrimmage, not so much down the field, where Hall was trying to break free. Did see some contact at about the 35, but it will go against Morehouse.
Could get a defensive hold as the receiver is trying to get his release on that side of the field.
Yeah, Hall had the turn on him, and the defender was trying to hold him to prevent him from getting that space or separation. And it was caught. Credit this officiating crew. It was caught by one of the side judges on the other side near the end zone. But running that sideline, he saw that contact up near the 35.
I have a did you know on Cleve Abbott. Did you know he coached the first African-American Olympic champion, Alex Coachman, who won the high jump in 1948?
Nice call. He was part of that early Olympic coaching for the U.S. in general, and there was a part of it with Coachman. On the right side, TU on the run. Rouser with the football, and somebody lost a helmet at the far side. Rouser got about 3 on the carry. One of the defenders from Morehouse loses the helmet.
Tuskegee trying to run behind that very young right side of the offensive line, which is composed of all freshmen to the right of center, LeBron Merriweather.
Yeah, we were talking about Morehouse in terms of his youth, and you've been referencing it all season long about the youth of that line up front for Tuskegee. Perhaps this unit starting now offensively for Tuskegee. Rouser got 2 on the play. 3:30 remains first half. On the ground, they'll go with Rouser again, right side. Rouser this time at the 20-yard line up to the 22, going to be about 3-4 yards shy of the marker.
Once again, Bryson McGrew carrying out his ball fake. That time as the play was going to the right, McGrew was still spinning to the left to the near sideline, just giving Morehouse a little look, a little wrinkle after the play was over.
3rd down and 4. 3:08 left in this first half of football. Charles McNeil standing by with our halftime show. Get you caught up on things around the SIAC. Hope you're enjoying his coverage in the TU Game Day live pregame show as well. Play clock down to 5. McGrew in shotgun on the 3rd and 4. McGrew on the flats, catch made there by Sellers coming out of the backfield. But an odd hit there near the first down marker, and not sure if he got there. About a half yard shy of it. So T punt the football away on 4th. Nice design on the play, getting Sellers coming out of the backfield. Just couldn't get to the sticks.
Morehouse had in that point of the catch, able to push the runner back before he get his shoulder pads turned upfield. As a result, Tuskegee has to punt.
Callum Brent on to do that. Callum third in the conference in the punting. And 2-minute timeout coming here before this first half of football expires. With that advent coming in now, they automatically insert that 2-minute break right before the intermission. So the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee leading this first half of the football game, 17-0. TU right now with 11 first downs in this ball game, 18 rushing attempts, 88 yards on the ground. Average push to almost 5 yards per carry for the Golden Tigers in this first half of play.
Say that again.
Didn't stutter. 4.9 per carry for the Golden Tigers on the ground. That's the number that they really want to be pushing north with. And they're getting it here this evening against the the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College. In the air, 8 receptions for 158 yards and averaging almost 20 yards per catch mark in this first half of football. So the young freshman at 8 of 11 passing, no interceptions in that first half, moving this offense of Tuskegee. Raekwon Bill, if you weren't with us in the pregame, out for this ball game, has the results of an MRI to be found out on Monday as to whether he can return to Tuskegee. So the freshman inserted here at home in Montgomery, Alabama. And so far, McGrew has done an outstanding job for TU.
We thought one of the keys coming into this game would be tempo, and so far Bryson McGrew has run this Tuskegee offense at just a bit quicker pace than it has all season. And I think the coaching staff has agreed with the philosophy, rather than trying to go for deception on play calls at the line of scrimmage, get the quarterback to the line, allow him to run on quick snaps, and as a result, Tuskegee has gotten into a rhythm.
We should talk a little bit about the defense for Tuskegee as well. Right now, the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College on 10 rushing attempts, a total of 11 yards on the ground. And in the air, they are 65 yards on passing on 5 receptions. So the defense for Tuskegee stepping things up here at the Classic as well.
We talked about Morehouse's running game being one of the keys, and Woodford, so far their leading rusher, has been stopped cold by this Tuskegee defense.
Yeah, only 11 yards total for them, so he has been stymied.
Woodford was recruited by Wake Forest and Georgia Southern. He's 5'9", 193 out of Northeast High School in Macon, Georgia. Really a quality recruit for the Maroon Tigers.
Snap at the line. McGrew pumps once, going up top. Flag on the play. Hall with the defense covering him out of bounds near the 45. But let's check the flag on the far side of the field and just behind the Tuskegee line of scrimmage. And the defense for Morehouse lining up offside. So Tuskegee with that free play trying to go up top the Hall. And they'll get that assessment against Morehouse.
Intelligent play. You know you have a free play, throw it up top.
Minute 54 left in this first half. Good crowd on hand here at the Cramton Bowl. It's 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. Shotgun for McGrew. He'll take the snap, pressure at the corner, unloads it toward the sideline, through that one, and catch was made by Hall, having to go down to grab that football, got it just before it hit the carpet, and they'll move the chains to the 40.
E.J. Hall was going to the turf and rolled over with his hands underneath the football, preventing it from hitting the turf.
A minute 46 left. TU with a 17-0 lead, trying to see if they can't get another before the break. McGrew in the pocket, steps up, shoots it on the outside, catch made at the corner. Hurdling over one would-be tackler and out of bounds was Rouser, and he gets a rise out of the crowd after he jumped over the tackler.
The near-capacity crowd of Tuskegee supporters on the far sideline got a kick out of Rouser going to the high hurdle.
And he hopped his way up near that first down marker, about a yard shy of it, on a very athletic play by Jaquil Rouser. The boy to get nullified, though, as Hall trying to help out downfield. The illegal block by him, and that'll push TU back.
Got Hall for a blindside block. That's not a call you hear off very often.
As a Crimson Piper marching band making its entrance on the far side of the football field. And the Maroon Tiger marching band down to our right. Just a minute 37 left before those bands take the field here at the Cramton Bowl. So that'll push TU back to their own 30 now. Minute 37 left. McGrew with the snap, steps up, feels the pressure. Now rolls toward the sideline, and he'll step out of bounds near the 37. You just have to hold your count with him because you don't know if he's going to raise at that very second and toss it downfield.
And the players on the Tuskegee sideline have to be a little more alert as McGrew is coming right at them. I didn't see anyone coming to his assistance as he's going full speed to the sideline near the bench.
Yeah, ran right into the Tuskegee players at the sideline. Nobody hurt, though. He stayed on his feet. That'll make it 2nd down and 14. Got some of that assessment back, but with a minute and 30 left.
You got to get those players lined up like a screen on an aircraft carrier to stop players and slow them down, at least going to the sideline.
Sure. High snap to McGrew in the pocket. Pressure from behind. He'll tuck and run this time. McGrew lost the football down on the surface near the 44-yard line. And the first miscue of the football game by the freshman comes with a minute 21 remaining in the first half. Just trying to get that extra piece of real estate there. Didn't go down. Tried to fight free of that tackle, and he got it stripped away from him.
McGrew in traffic, as you mentioned, was going down. I'd be curious to see the replay to see if a body part touched before that ball came out. You have the benefit of a screen here at the stadium. It's under review. It could be that left knee may have touched before the ball came out.
Yeah, as you referenced, we got a vantage point taking another look at it here. It's Morehouse's home game. They're responsible for the replay, the official replay at field level. Wow.
It came out.
See that angle there shows it did pop out before he got that left leg knee down. Boy, so the replay showed something at one angle, but this one more definitive that football did pop out on the freshman. We were talking about this a couple of ball games ago about this being the first year that the conference has gone to official replays, and that one challenged at field level. And if Tuskegee made the challenge of that call, they're going to lose. They won't have the ability to do any more challenges during this ball game. Another look at it as we're seeing it here at the stadium as McGrew was trying to go down there, and it'll depend. They got several angles to look at it. That replay system offers you 3 angles to look at the play, and the officials have the ability to really zoom in on that play as it's unfolding. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually come away with here as the final call.
1:21 remaining in the first half. So this is a huge call for both teams. Morehouse wants to get on the scoreboard. Tuskegee wants to maintain this bagel that they put up so far in the first half.
Official looking at it, and they will come away with their decision in just a moment. So the SIAC offering that this year really has been a conversation piece within the conference to really understand it and know how it plays out. We're seeing our first instant of it this year.
Judging by the reaction on the Morehouse bench, it will go over to the Maroon Tigers.
So Tuskegee loses that challenge. That means they can't challenge anything else in this football game. And Morehouse in business from the 44 of Tuskegee. Golden Tigers with a 17-0 lead and want to keep that bagel on it going into the intermission. They'll have to stop this Morehouse offense to do it.
Miles Scott in the shotgun.
2 receivers to his right, 1 lone up top to his left. And Scott ready, he'll take a snap. Short drop by him. Tuskegee coming with pressure. He has to unload that one into the Tuskegee sideline. Tuskegee dialing up that blitz again, and Scott having to bail out left side.
Bit of confusion as the Morehouse receiver stopped on the far sideline. Scott thought he was going to continue deep.
So Morehouse will have a 2nd down now after the incomplete pass. And that receiver also breaking his route off into the inside, and that pass thrown to the outside, as you referenced last. Thought that he's going to make that break inside and shoot back outside, but did not. And that'll pick it to 1:17 left in this first half of play, and second down and 10 for Morehouse. They got the football after a fumble by Bryson McGrew, the quarterback for Tuskegee. And the defense of Tuskegee trying to hold Morehouse out of the end zone. Scott with the snap, shoots it upfield. One-handed catch made there on the inside by Woodford. Woodford works his way down the right side, still on his feet. They missed him on a tackle there. Woodford still fights away. I think he got in the end zone. Somehow Woodford able to avoid tacklers going down the field, keeping his balance on the last 2 or 3 yards, and Tuskegee just not able to wrap him up.
You've heard the term contact balance. That's what Woodford showed. He was hit at the 20. He was hit at the 10, kept his feet turning. He's going towards the corner of the end zone and had enough space and speed to get to the marker.
Play really started out phenomenally because he caught it with one hand on the initial catch and runs it the distance from the 44 for the touchdown. Going after attempt, hits the upright left side. So the PAT is missed. TU leads it 17-6 after the run by Woodford on a 44-yard scamper. Just a one-handed catch by him to get that play started, and TU had 3 or 4 chances to put him on the turf, just not able to do it, and he runs it in right side.
As you make the mention, we won't call out any names, but Woodford broke 3 tackles on the way to the end zone on that last run, demonstrating why he's one of the lead rushers in the SIAC, one of his few opportunities in space.
44-yard touchdown run, and Morehouse gets on the scoreboard here in this 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. So Morehouse will kick it, and TU with 64 seconds left. We'll see if they try to get any of that back. Likely going to depend on what happens on the run back, if there is one.
You make a great call. It'll all be dependent upon field position to start this next drive. If Tuskegee can get outside the 30, you may see them turn aggressive. If it's inside the 30, look for them to go conservative.
Cooper stands deep, so does E.J. Hall. Short kick, it'll come down to Devin. Devin squeezes at the 15, at the 20, directly toward the sideline, tiptoes down the sideline, steps out of bounds near the 30-yard line. So, right there, yeah. Is that far enough?
That's far enough. That's far enough. It's far enough to take a gamble on at least one play. You've got a minute even remaining. So we'll see if the coaches for Tuskegee trust their freshman quarterback to run a hurry-up offense.
I like your assessment on that because you're right. That's what it's coming down to, what level of trust they have with the freshman in there. So far, so good for him. Saved that fumble that resulted in the touchdown for the Maroon Tigers.
And you hope that Bryson McGrew is not shook as a result of that last fumble. The coaches may say, okay, let's go conservative. Let you get your feet back under you.
Well, they got a spread offense. He's going up top. McGrew steps up. Here comes the pressure. Nice loose run there by him. Now he'll slide at the 37-yard line. Had a man right there in his face in the backfield. Just stepped right out of that coverage and turned that negative into a positive for Tuskegee.
Quick feet for McGrew once again, stepping through tackles, away from tackles. Tuskegee gets a timeout now with 44 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they'll take a timeout and decide what they want to do here. Golden Tiger fans, do you or someone you know have a business that could benefit from a partnership with Tuskegee University Athletics? If so, here's your opportunity to join our sponsorship team. Each year, the Golden Tiger Sports Network streams nearly 100 Tuskegee University athletic events with a fan base of almost 150,000 customers. Let us connect your business to the incredible buying power of the Tuskegee University community. We'll showcase your brand before the loyal followers of TU. You know the standard in academic and athletic excellence. To learn more, email us at goldentigersportsnetwork@gmail.com. Join us and let us show you the power of Tuskegee athletics. That's Golden Tiger Sports Network @gmail.com. Love to have that conversation with you about getting you on board as a part of our sponsorship team. And after the timeout, the Golden Tigers with 44 seconds left in this first half. We'll see how they play it out. They go right back to that spread formation again with the freshman signal caller in that shotgun. 5 up front for Morehouse. Snap to McGrew. In the pocket, looks upfield, got some time. Now feels the pressure, and they'll get a sack on him near the 31. Good coverage downfield by that Morehouse secondary, just surveying it. Everybody deep downfield on the pattern, and every black jersey had a white jersey right on top of it.
McGrew, the clock in his head, had to go past that 3 Mississippi mark. You could see him once that 4 Mississippi was reached. He was not trying to force the action, took the sack, went down.
And another timeout taken here. Not sure who took it. Likely Morehouse here to see what happens on this third, with the hopes of getting that football back with at least a little bit of time left in this first half to perhaps take a shot at the end zone. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Tuskegee after the timeout.
Big play call coming up for head coach Aaron James of Tuskegee. This 3rd and 10, you don't want to get too creative in terms of ball handling, and you can ill afford a second turnover where you once had a 17-0 lead.
Players set to come back to the field now after the timeout. They're freshmen, and Tuskegee set to run this 3rd down and 10 play. Morehouse anticipating a pass, only showing 3 on a spread front defensively. Now they pull the linebackers in, showing that they may be coming on a blitz. Quick go on the ground here. TU puts it on the ground. Sellers with it left side. They went conservative after that, and that'll get that clock started. And let's see if Morehouse takes the time out here. If they have one left, that'll bring up a 4th and 10. Clock running at 21 seconds. So TU going toward the sideline. And an injured player down on the field for Morehouse. Looks like they were going to just let this run, let it run out here in this first half of play, because they got it under 20 seconds. Now it's at 14. And as they look to the injured Morehouse player near the 37-yard line.
That was big Luka Chukos, the 6'3" defensive end who actually made the tackle, very slow getting up, limping to the sideline now. The officials are gathered at the near hash mark. They'll be calling both teams back on the field.
Chukos, a transfer from Miles College, conference member. So the clock's going to be down at about, they got to do a runoff here because the injured player, they run it off, so it's down to 4 seconds. So all the rest of this is just going to be an academic here in terms of Tuskegee coming back to take a knee on this football to get out of this first half with a 17-6 lead. So an infraction there. And then the injured player really took control of these final seconds of this first half, and the TU set to just take a knee on it after they get the snap. Wanted to go in that locker room with a 17-0 lead, but the fumble allowed Morehouse on a 44-yard run by Woodford to get them on the scoreboard. And now the time runs out there this first half of play. So TU leading it at the break, 17-6 over the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College. We're live from the 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. Turn things over now to our halftime host, Charles McNeil.
Broadcast coverage of Golden Tigers athletics is brought to you by the following. The U.S. Coast Guard, always ready. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. Alabama Power, for the service of Alabama. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Yellowwood, a better backyard awaits. Home Depot, how doers get more done. Utilities Board of Tuskegee, purpose, progress, people. Coca-Cola, enjoy the moment with a Coca-Cola. Tuskegee Federal Credit Union, serving the people of Tuskegee and the surrounding community since 1938. TLAT Media. Step by step, TLAT Media makes your business grow. And by Advertising Solutions. From concept to conversion, we are your advertising solution.
We are so glad that you joined us for the TU Halftime Report presented by Alabama Power. Charles McNeil here for the 86th Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. This is the oldest black college football classic in all the land and one that all others look to emulate. In the fourth of our 8 conference games this year, Tuskegee leads Morehouse 17-6 at the break. And if you went back to the first quarter, you got a chance to see the young quarterback. Yes, with a little prestidigitation. We're talking about sleight of hand. That's Bryson McGrew, the freshman phenom from Montgomery, who went to a high school just a short stroll from Cramton Bowl. But he stepped up and did incredible things. He feels comfortable inside of the stadium, and he showcased his skills right here in the Cramton Bowl, galloping 27 yards for the lone touchdown early on. And Lorcan Ryans added a 27-yard field goal, and it was Tuskegee with an early 10-0 lead. Into the second quarter we went, and it was the return of the Mac. That's right, Bryson McGrew. One more time, he connected this time with Beal's favorite target, Raekwon Beal, out due to a knee injury. And we wish him nothing but the best. E.J. Hall making the reception and taking it to the house. 59-yard pitch and catch. And the Golden Tigers were up 17-0. But there we go. Late in the half, it's happened to us time and time again. A turnover leads to points as Morehouse's Nick Whitford, he was reserved on a 44-yard race to the end zone with 1:04 left in the half. And your halftime score, as I said, 11-point game in favor of Tuskegee, 17-6. Here are your numbers. Rushing in favor of Tuskegee, 103-11. Passing yards, 173-109. Overall yardage, that is, in the first half, Tuskegee 276 to Fort Valley State's 120. First downs, also Golden Tigers with the decisive advantage, 13-6. Penalties, 6 penalties against the Golden Tigers for 51 yards versus Morehouse's 3 penalties for just 35 yards. Third down conversions, 2 of 6 for Tuskegee and 2 of 5 for Fort Valley. So with that said, it's time for our Tuskegee Morehouse Classic halftime show. So please put on your dancing shoes and get ready to listen to the sounds of the Crimson Piper Marching Band. And we hope that you listen and enjoy.
Watch as MCP drills till I'm Sprung by T-Pain and Run It by Chris Brown. Montgomery, Alabama, make some noise.
Wow, that's how they do it right there, right here inside the Cramton Bowl. That's the Crimson Piper Marching Band putting on a show. Let's take a quick break, and when we return to the TU Halftime Report presented by Alabama Power, we'll have scores from around the SIAC as the TU Halftime Report presented by Alabama Power continues from Montgomery, Alabama on the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
I love the lake. It's like one of the few places I can just let go and be myself. I really love it here.
Hi Tuskegee fans, I am Larkin Ryans, the kicker for Tuskegee University, and this is the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Thank you so much, Larkin. Already 5 points in the game for Larkin Ryans. Of course, the Tuskegee Golden Tigers with a 17-6 lead at halftime over Morehouse. And welcome back to the TU Halftime Report presented by Alabama Power. Charles McNeil here, right here inside of the place to be, the Cramton Bowl, live from the Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. And what a weekend it's been. For the first time in the 86 meetings, the Classic has set up shop right here in the capital city of Montgomery. And ladies and gentlemen, they have rolled out the red carpet for us. Concerts, parties, banquets, food trucks, pop-up shops, you name it. We certainly have had every bit of it. Specialty and health wellness events, tailgating, you name it. We've seen it all right here in Montgomery this weekend. As you know, the 85th edition was held last year in Columbus, the original home for the Classic. And after a brief stint in Birmingham, it's now in a home that has re-energized this event, which is, of course, the granddaddy of them all. So with all that said, these entrepreneurs here remind me to ask you, as Tuskegee alumni and business owners who are tuned into our broadcast, if you would like your company spotlighted in our broadcast each week, email us right now. You can do so at goldentigersportsnetwork@gmail.com. That's goldentigersportsnetwork@gmail.com. And we'll reach out to you and help your business get promoted to fellow alums and fans of TU as well. With the history and heritage of Tuskegee University, you already know we can help to grow your brand throughout the United States, if not the world. So not just for TU alums, but this is also thrown out to HBCU sports fans and their families that also own businesses, because that exposure, as you share your products with the audience that's tuned into our broadcast, we do nearly 100 games throughout all the sports here at Tuskegee, gives you an opportunity to get your business in that opportunity to shine and also to grow, building your brand to what you like it to be. So that email address, one more time, is goldentigersportsnetwork@gmail.com. So with that said, it's time for us to take a look at our slate of Black college football games beginning right here at the 86th Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. And in case you just tuned in, our halftime score is 17-6 with Tuskegee in the lead. The last game that we played here was the Red Tails Classic. That was back in week 0 of the season against Winston-Salem State, who led it 10-7. Led us 10-7 in that contest, but the Golden Tigers came back for a 20-17 victory to begin the slate of that one. Now let's catch you up on the games that you see on your screen as we speak. The rest of the conference action, all games were afternoon affairs, and in a battle of two teams with one win each in the SIAC, Fort Valley, who defeated Tuskegee last week, were at home to Central State, and the Wildcats jumped out to a 14-6 first quarter lead, only to see the Marauders come back for an 18-14 road victory. Tremendous effort, as we've seen both of those teams so far this year. It was homecoming at South Carolina State University. The Bulldogs welcomed Savannah State to Orangeburg and were rude hosts, defeating the Tigers 49-6 at Oliver C. Dawson Bulldog Stadium. South Carolina State had over 400 yards of total offense, and Savannah State was held to less than 200 yards offensively. The annual Battle of Taylor Street is still going on. That's number 3 Benedict at home to their rival Allen University, who entered the game at 2-3 overall. The Tigers and Yellow Jackets have been going back and forth in this affair, and they're late in the fourth quarter with Benedict clinging to a 31-28 lead. Miles, 0-5 overall, 0-2 in the SIAC, hosted the surprising second-place Kentucky State team. Preseason pick to finish 5th in the SIAC, and the Thoroughbreds galloped past the Golden Bears 38-17. Into the final SIAC game this afternoon, undefeated Albany State remained that way with a 200-yard rushing attack as they cruise past the Dragons of Lane 40-6. And that's your wrap for the TU Halftime Report with scores around the SIAC presented by Alabama Power here at the 86th Tuskegee Morehouse Classic in Montgomery. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Charles McNeil, and we look forward to seeing you and at our watch parties, getting your watch party videos sent to us and videos from our alumni. Of course, we continue our contest on the road to crowning a champion at homecoming in just 3 short weeks. So send those to Golden Tiger Sports Network at gmail.com as soon as you possibly can, and you'll get double the points the rest of the way. Charles Ward and Mark Lassiter are itching to get back in the booth and bring you the second half. Enjoy the rest of the game on the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
C-SPY is a prestigious scholarship, a world-class leadership training program, and a ticket to a rewarding career as an officer in the United States Coast Guard. C-SPY is an opportunity for students attending minority-serving institutions that goes beyond paying for 2 years of tuition and other college expenses. Once accepted, you'll be a member of the Coast Guard, earning a full-time salary, plus medical benefits and a housing allowance. While continuing your full-time studies, you'll get to learn about life in the Coast Guard firsthand. You'll quickly find that the Coast Guard is unique from the other military branches. It's a different kind of service, with crews of like-minded people who perform life-saving missions every day and protect our environment and communities. If you're ready to step up as a leader and help us make the world a better place, then visit gocoastguard.com/CSPI to learn more or talk to a recruiter.
I grew up coming out to this land. There's just something special about it. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's really important to me.
And this is the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Hey, Golden Tiger fans. Arthur A.J. Woodson here, class of 2010, current president for the New York Tuskegee Alumni Association, encouraging all other alumni chapters to sign up for this year's Golden Tiger Sports Network Alumni Chapter Challenge, grand prize being a deluxe tailgate experience being held at this year's homecoming. Sign your chapters up now so that you can be a part of the weekly score predictions, trivia during the game, and even have a live check-in during the game on the GTSN if your chapter is hosting a watch party. So sign up and be a part of this year's Alumni Chapter Challenge.
And we are back live here at the Cramton Bowl, 86th Annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic, getting set for second half action. 17-6 TU leads it at the break. Mark, good first half of football for the Golden Tigers.
You know, when we get the halftime stats, we get a barrage of numbers. We just get everything, all the detail, all the intricacies, the ins and outs of the game. But I like to go to one number, and I like to get a frame for this one, a nice gold frame. I like to put a beveled frame around it, frame it in black. Tuskegee ran the ball 23 times for 103 yards.
Wow.
Book that, save it.
Sure.
And that's exactly what the Golden Tigers need to do if they want to think about turning their season around, something they've struggled with all season long. 103 yards in the first half alone on the ground.
Came into this ball game with a total of 266 yards on the ground in the first 5 games of the season. So tonight, really an outstanding stat for TU.
Time of possession also. As a result, Tuskegee dominated 18 minutes and 48 seconds of possession to Morehouse's 11 minutes and 12 seconds. So again, Tuskegee's able to keep its defense fresh, rested on the field, if not for the one turnover by their quarterback, who had an outstanding game, the freshman Bryson McGrew. This game would have been a donut in the first half for Tuskegee over Morehouse. But as it stands, 17-6, and McGrew can only be proud of his 10 for 13 performance in the first half.
173 yards and that one touchdown toss of 59 yards. Talking about total offense with Tuskegee, they came in averaging 235 yards per game in this first half alone, already at 276 yards.
Like I said, find a frame for it, hang it on the wall, put it in a nice spot, and save it. Because this is the type of football Tuskegee has historically been known to play. When they have been a top 3 team in the SIC, you could always depend on Tuskegee having a strong running game and a very consistent offense.
Third down conversions, 2 of 6 for TU, 17 first downs in that first half for the Golden Tigers as well. Bryson McGrew had carried the ball 8 times, had 63 yards on the ground himself. Rouser with 38. And Sellers coming in with 2 yards, contributing to the rush offense for Tuskegee.
And every once in a while, Charles, you will notice a team respond to its leader. They have seemed to rally around McGrew as a unit. As he's gained more confidence, I think the entire offensive unit has gotten more trust, and the coaching staff, in turn, knows that they have a player that they can trust on the field in key situations.
Yeah, one of the situations that we have not seen of that Tuskegee offense up to this point with Raekwon Bill at quarterback was McGrew's ability to run the football, and it's just added an additional dimension to that Tuskegee offense.
Also give credit to McGrew's ball handling, because as he showed in the first half, he carries out his ball fakes when the play is away from him. It gives Morehouse a little eye candy to be concerned with, and as a result, Tuskegee can run plays in series that have the same look but different outcomes.
Tuskegee, recall, started this football game out on offense first. They'll be kicking it away to start the second half. Maroon Tigers will have it. We'll see what kinds of adjustments are made for them coming into this third quarter of play. Charles Ward, Mark Lassiter with the call. Thanks to Charles McNeil for handling our halftime duties. Kick going to come down at the 1 yard line. It'll be Bowie on the return. Zion got some space up the middle, spins on, stays on one hand as a flag comes in at the back of his return. He'll be down near the 24-yard line, an injured Tuskegee player down, but up and under his own power headed toward the sideline, so we'll check the flag.
Give credit to the official who threw that flag about 20 yards in the air from midfield all the way to the 30-yard line. Maybe one of the better tosses we've seen by an official so far this year.
Oh, I see what happened, though. It's wind aided in here. The wind's blowing back that way. Can't give him full credit for that one.
Okay, we'll have to deduct yardage for the wind-aided flag throw.
Yeah, it's like the guys in track and field when they get those times that come in, and they'll note at the bottom, wind-aided.
Good call. Good call.
But this one going against the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College to start this third quarter of action. Morehouse in the first half of play, 4 penalties for 40 yards, and they get the first here of the second half.
Individual leaders in the first half. E.J. Hall had 5 targets, 126 yards, and a player we didn't mention a lot and should have, Kaquan Kimber, had 4 unassisted tackles.
Kimber leading the squad in tackles on the season for Tuskegee. Had a chance to talk to him during the course of the week, talking about what the feel of this team is after having lost those last 3 games. And he said they were still upbeat and just raring to go for this classic here this afternoon or this evening. Woodford on the carry for the Maroon Tigers, and he's hit initially at the line of scrimmage, and that is all he's able to do. So that'll bring up second, and actually lost the yard on the play.
And as they were able to do in the first half, Charles, Tuskegee's defensive front able to handle Morehouse's front line, not getting Wolford enough space to get up to speed before he gets to the line of scrimmage.
So that'll be 2nd and 11 here for Morehouse. Just underway here, third quarter. 17-6 lead for Tuskegee. Scott in the pocket, fires upfield in traffic, and this one goes incomplete. In and out of the hands of the tight end, Vinny, and almost a pick there by Tuskegee.
There were 2 players from Morehouse, Vinny being the first shallow, but a second receiver right behind him. But an excellent call, Charles, as the ball was tipped. There was a Tuskegee defender in the neighborhood. That was a dangerous throw.
Yeah, and you referenced the fact that you're right. There were 2 Morehouse receivers right there in that same area, kind of creased off one in and out of the hands of Vinny, and Tuskegee right on top of it. That'll make it 3rd down here for Morehouse. This is exactly the script that Tuskegee wanted coming out of the break. 3rd and long in the end zone. They dump it upfield. Catch going to be made by Woodford, and he'll run out of bounds past the sticks for the first down.
There was a little bit of indecision by Tuskegee's defense as they were turning to the sideline, looking to get the alignment call. It was fortunate they didn't get caught for more yardage, because as they were looking to the sideline, Morehouse snapped the ball within a count of them getting set at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you got to credit Morehouse on that. They left 3rd down and 11 from the end zone. Scott able to unload that football, and Woodford able to run for that first down, so they get a little bit of breathing room. Tuskegee really wanted to pin them there on that 3rd down and force the punt. Scott goes under center now from the 17. Spread handoff, Woodford right side. Tuskegee read that all the way, and they'll get Woodford down behind the line of scrimmage, about a 3-yard loss on the play.
Zion Williams, offensive lineman for Morehouse, weighs 275 pounds. He was manhandled by one of the defensive front for Tuskegee, got tossed to the side about 5 yards deep in the backfield. He looked up as if to say, what was the number on that truck that hit me?
Yeah. Just that sprint kind of extended handoff to Woodford right side. They never got it back to the line of scrimmage. The surge by TU right on target. 2nd down, 13. Miles in the pocket. Now they'll flush it right side. Trying to raise and get upfield. Spins off of 1 tackle. Got it back to about the 14. So it'll still be a long 3rd down coming here for the Maroon Tigers.
Morehouse had thoughts of going to Carmen Brunson again, who was breaking open at the 25-yard line, but there was decent coverage for Tuskegee as well as the penetration by the defensive front. Brunson had about 5 yards of separation. It was too late.
You referenced Zion Williams just a play or two ago. He's coming off the field now for Morehouse after that last play.
Seems to be favoring that right elbow as he was literally tossed to the ground. May have landed on that elbow on the previous play.
Yeah, tried to go, but he's coming toward the sideline. That'll make it 3rd and 13. Maroon Tigers converted on the last 3rd down effort. Tuskegee wants to stop them here, get this football back. Still with good field position. TU with 4 across the defensive front. Snap to Scott in the pocket. Now steps up, raises, fires, got a man middle of the field, and tie up there with the football. And it looks like it's going to be an interception. TU just took it away from him. Yeah, they got tied up near midfield, and they came away with the football. On the coverage, the catch was made initially by Brunson at the 50, but TU's defense went right in and ripped the football out of his hands.
Now, this is one of those moments that we're going to have to apologize for the jerseys of Tuskegee, but I'm going to give the credit to Michael King.
That's it.
The defensive back who lost his helmet, got his hand in on a tremendous hit in coverage, and comes away with the football.
Outstanding job by Michael King, first-team all-conference player for Tuskegee. Actually not slated to start in this ball game after the performance over the last 3. But you talk about redemption, that is a big redeeming play for Michael King.
That was a hit and a gimme.
Yep. Give it all up, right? Yeah, like a robbery. Just took everything.
and lost his helmet in the process.
TU with the football after the rip away by Michael King. On the ground now, TU going to go out in the flats. Pass made at the corner. Hall with the catch. Good first down play there for Tuskegee. Got about 8 on that catch by Hall at the sideline.
Credit to Bryson McGrew. That ball's about 20 yards in the air. Even though it's a very shallow pattern, he's throwing from the middle of the field all the way to the far sideline. An accurate throw on first down.
TU going left to right in this third quarter. 11:58 remaining in it. They still lead 17-6 after the takeaway. They're down at the 41 of Morehouse. On the ground, Rouser's got some space left side. Rouser, second wave of the Morehouse defense, down near the 22-yard line. Another first down for TU.
Tuskegee getting blocks downfield by their offensive linemen and wide receivers. You can see one of the big offensive linemen signaling first down. Tuskegee's offense coming off the turnover, playing with tempo once again.
Jeffrey Kamoku, the fullback for Tuskegee, doesn't run the football at all, but had a good block there to spring Rouser left side as well. 1st and 10 from the 23.
1st and 10.
On the ground, Rouser again puts his head down, spins toward the sideline, and got about 7 on that carry for TU.
The difference between this Tuskegee edition and previous editions, they're picking up nice chunks on first down. As a result, the second down calls become easier for the coaching staff, and the players are getting into a groove.
And that offensive line is really charging out as well for Tuskegee. It's commanding that line of scrimmage on the last couple of plays.
For those of you that haven't listened, Tuskegee does not run a huddle. They go immediately to the line of scrimmage. They get the play calls from the sideline while they're in formation.
McGrew in shotgun. Kamoku steps in for blocking purposes. They keep it on the ground. McGrew got it again, kept it on the ball fake and went inside the 10, down inside the 5.
McGrew fakes out the stadium PA announcer who said he handed it off. No, he didn't. McGrew on the keeper, riding the running back once again for a couple of steps, taking himself up the middle.
Indeed, faked it to Rouser. Rouser with a nice continuation as though he had the football. McGrew with the nice sleight of hands runs it inside the 5 down to the 4. TU smelling it right now. They lead 17-6. They got it on a takeaway on an interception at near midfield, and they are inside the 5 now. 1st and goal to go. On the ground, Rouser looking for space, and he's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage.
Tuskegee going Wildcat that time with Johnny Morris, one of their leading rushers. One of the few losses on a running play for Tuskegee all evening.
Baldwin pushes them back to the, we're going to put it at right at the 9-yard line. So 2nd and goal to go from the 9 now for TU. Rouser got roughed up a little bit there, getting his shoulder pads back in play. They'll go with that Wildcat set one more time. He'll stand there, takes a snap, keeps it left side, charges to the 5, and the pack catches up with him there. So TU back-to-back Wildcat plays here. That's going to be a little bit too predictable in that formation for them. They take away the element of perhaps McGrew throwing the football in that scenario. Now McGrew coming on this 3rd down and goal to go from the 5.
Interesting sequence of calls by Tuskegee. 2 on the Wildcat. Now they bring their quarterback in on 3rd down.
One of thinking 2-down possession here perhaps with the 17-6 lead. McGrew in the pistol. He'll take the snap, short drop, looks into the end zone, one-on-one coverage back there, batted around, and football incomplete back of the end zone.
That was very close to offsides by Morehouse. You could see their left defensive end jump right before the snap.
They were trying to get it into the corner of the end zone to E.J. Hall, but he was covered at the back of the end zone. So now Larkin Ryans will come on, and it's going to be about a 22-yard effort by Larkin. He's already hit in this football game from 27. TU trying to inch ahead on this scoreboard, leading 17-6. Here's the snap. Kick by Ryan, line drive kick by Larkins. He's on target for TU. 2nd field goal of the game for him. Tuskegee, after the gift on the interception from midfield, they cash in with the field goal. TU extends its lead now 20-6. Let's take a break here on GTSN.
I grew up coming out to this land, There's just something special about it.
Going over there.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's really important to me.
Hello, Tuskegee Nation. I'm Dr. Mark Brown, President and CEO of Tuskegee University. This is our First Lady, Miss Gwendolyn Jackson Brown. We are so excited about the Golden Tiger Sports Network and this year's season. TU, you know.
Back live here at the Cramton Bowl, Montgomery, Alabama, the 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. TU, 22-yard field goal by Larkin Ryans, extending their lead to 26.
We've seen more than our share of Tuskegee drives this season between the 20s that have come away with nothing to show for them. Fortunately for the Golden Tigers, you have Larkin Ryans who can step in and add points to the first offensive series, which is not a big mark on the scoreboard, but a significant one because it shows that you were productive on your first possession. Now it puts more pressure on Morehouse.
Larkin, number one in the SIAC in field goals, came in 7 of 11, already hit 2 here this evening. Also came in number one in the conference in scoring points from kicking with 32. So a big part of that TU offense is in the leg of Larkin Ryans, and he knocks that one in from 22.
Starting the freshman quarterback, I had a sense that Ryans might be a difference maker, but the quarterback, Bryson McGrew, has been so effective. Ryans hasn't had to play a significant role.
Well, yeah. Well, that's a situation that you don't mind. That's for sure. Yeah, you mentioned it in pregame, but 2 field goals already a contribution as well. But with the play of McGrew, TU seems to be in a better offensive position than they have been in the past in terms of maximizing scores.
Also, Tuskegee playing with a lead.
30-6, 20-6, I beg your pardon. They lead it right now as Ryan set to kick it away. We'll have a return here. Bowie going to squeeze it at the 1. Now at the 10. Bowie works it right side. Now looks toward the sideline. Bowie at the 23, and TU gang tackles him over there near the 27-yard line. Well, he just ran into a sea of black jerseys in front of the tee line. They all converged on him at once.
Credit the pursuit of the coverage team for Tuskegee. They're probably still stung by that return that Fort Valley pulled off on the punt where everyone froze when the ball hit at the 2-yard line that was run back for 98 yards.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Coach James about it on Wednesday, and that's what he was saying, is that when they saw the ball in flight, they just gave up and thought, okay, this is a touchback. And sure enough, it hit right down as a perfect golf shot at the 1 and returned for that touchdown. It really broke the back of TU in that attempt to come back on Fort Valley. So Scott and Morehouse now, they'll take the football, 28 to start this drive. They'll hitch it out in the flats. Catch going to be made by Bowie out of the backfield, and he runs out of bounds. May have gotten it back to the line of scrimmage, not much more.
I would imagine Terrence Mathis, with his wealth of NFL experience, is already thinking clock management in the third quarter. It's never too early. He's 2 scores down, so his sequence of play calls may be designed to preserve as much clock as possible.
That play, a little hitch pass out in the flats to Bowie at the short side of the field, and they chased him out of bounds right there at the first down, or at the marker, pick up about a half yard on the catch. Scott again. This one floats it upfield. This one partially deflected, but into the arms of Eric Stevens, and Stevens with the catch beyond the marker for a first down for Morehouse.
They also had big Maurice Vinny breaking open from the right side of the field where he was lined up. He was streaking right up the middle of the field, open by about 5 yards. Vinny, just for those of you turning in, 6'4", 270 tight end. He's a decent target.
Yeah, no doubt. But to your point, Coach Mathis seeming to follow the script you're talking about. Last couple of passes have been right there at the sidelines, and the receivers have been able to get the catch and step out of bounds. Scott again, this time going to the middle of the field. Catch going to be made by Vinny, that big target you talked about. And Vinny squeezes it and turns it up to the 48 for Morehouse.
Nothing fancy. Lined up Vinny in the slot that time. Just a turn after about a 5-yard short pattern. Bases his quarterback, makes the catch, falls forward for an additional 2.
Clock falls to 7 minutes remaining in the third. TU leading 20-6. Morehouse knowing they need to answer that score on a drive. Started from their 27. Right now they're at the 40 of their own 48-yard line. Scott with the snap. Here comes pressure. Unloads it. Got a man coming back for the football. This is Stevens. Stevens at the 40. Now inside the 30 on the Tuskegee end of the field. Rolls his way down to the 25.
What a player like Vinny does for Morehouse, Charles. He draws a lot of attention. That time they lined up on the right sideline in the slot. 2 Tuskegee players went with Vinny. They ran the play to the near sideline, and Tuskegee got caught. Shorter man.
Stevens on that catch just sat down to get that football near the 40-yard line, and a nice run after the catch down to the 26. So Morehouse trying to keep itself in business with 6:07 left in the third. Scott in shotgun, joined by Wood backfield. They'll pitch it to him left side. Woodford stutter steps, works his way past the initial line of scrimmage, but run out of bounds near the 25. May have gotten the yard on the run and catch.
That time Morehouse used Vinny as the lead blocker on the near sideline. He was lined up tight on the left side, so he was more of a tackle on this formation. Got a hand on a Tuskegee player, but just enough trouble to be contend with. At 270 pounds, is a tough person to play off of.
TU kind of reeling on this drive by Morehouse. Started at their own 27. Now down at the 25 of TU. Scott handles the snap. Looks upfield. Got a man behind the defense. Easy pitch and touchdown throw to Cameron Brunson. Brunson behind the defense. TU just fell down on the job there. He was 10 yards open with nobody near him in the screen.
Michael McGuire, the defensive back on that near sideline, was just late getting his head around. The runner was 5 yards past him when he made the catch at the 5 and just tipped into the end zone. So Morehouse with a quick score.
Cameron Brunson, they're the leading receiver with that catch down the sideline. And Morehouse responds with 5:17 remaining in the third. They needed that score, and they got it. Davis Rowe now on to try the point after. And Rowe with the point after is good for Morehouse, and Morehouse right back in this football game. Tuskegee leading it 20-13 over the Maroon Tigers. Let's take a break on GTSN.
C-SPY is a prestigious scholarship, a world-class leadership training program, and a ticket to a rewarding career as an officer in the United States Coast Guard. C-SPY is an opportunity for students attending minority-serving institutions that goes beyond paying for 2 years of tuition and other college expenses. Once accepted, you'll be a member of the Coast Guard, earning a full-time salary, plus medical benefits, and a housing allowance. While continuing your full-time studies, you'll get to learn about life in the Coast Guard firsthand. You'll quickly find that the Coast Guard is unique from the other military branches. It's a different kind of service, with crews of like-minded people who perform life-saving missions every day and protect our environment and communities. If you're ready to step up as a leader and help us make the world a better place, then visit gocoastguard.com/CSPI to learn more or talk to a recruiter.
Back live here at the 86th Annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic, and Morehouse, Mark, responding quickly on that drive, got a touchdown. They cut the deficit to 2013, did not burn a whole lot of time doing it either.
More important for Morehouse, it was a sustained drive. Their first score coming off the turnover. Morehouse takes over and runs the field for a touchdown this time against Tuskegee, which puts the pressure back on the Tuskegee offense to come on the field, if not score, but see if they can maintain some ball possession, burn some clock, and keep Morehouse's offense off the field for a minute.
Morehouse getting most of his yardage up to this point in the football game through the air at 192 yards throwing the football compared to just 14 on the ground. So we saw that breakdown in the secondary for Tuskegee on the touchdown pass down the sideline to Brunson. Nobody within that whole camera frame as he caught that ball and just literally walked in down the left sideline. So TU set to get the football back now.
I think what Morehouse did effectively was make Tuskegee so conscious of the short zone when they decided to take a deep drop or take that shot. Their defensive backs for Tuskegee were looking and cheating towards the line of scrimmage, just got caught.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They kind of lulled them into that situation by the way that drive started out. Offensive coordinator Richard Moncrief for the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College. A very well-designed drive for them to score. So TU now set for a return, backpedaling near the 5. And on the return, it's going to be Hall. Turning the right corner, that's Devin Cooper with the football. Cooper steps it out of bounds near midfield for Tuskegee. And the Golden Tigers now with a chance here to come back right back and answer that score by Morehouse.
Like the run by Devin Cooper. Very decisive, got to the sideline. Is there a flag back upfield? We see the officials heading back to the 30.
Right. Oh, boy.
Second time Tuskegee's been victimized after a decent run back by a holding call on kick return.
Yeah, about a 46-yard return there by Devin Cooper gets nullified after the holding call. Wow. So with 5:08 remaining, TU will start the drive starting inside their own 20 at the 19.
As we saw in the first half, Charles, that's about a 22-yard difference from the spot of where that flag was thrown. Tuskegee sets up shop on their own 19.
So the freshman McGrew back out onto the football field. Joined by Sellers, who lines up with him in the backfield. He'll keep it on the ground or not, works it past the 30 or 20, that is, up to the 21-yard line. 2 on that pickup. TU trying to go quickly if they can. Under 5 minutes left in the third.
Tuskegee's running big Desi Morgan Jr., fullback, 5'9", 270. That time they had him in the slot. Brought him closer to the line of scrimmage on the snap of the ball, tried to use him as a lead blocker.
Second down and 8. McGrew on the ground, right side, breaking free on the carrier flag, coming in the back of that play. Sellers with it right side at the 30, but expect this one perhaps to come back as well.
You had Desi Morgan once again as the lead blocker. Also had big number 65, Richard Scott, leading that play for Tuskegee. Based on where that flag is thrown, it's another holding call against Tuskegee.
Boy, you got to be worried here now. Morehouse has already scored on their possession. Tuskegee with a good return on the kick. Got a penalty, got pushed back. They get another one here that will push them back again. And Morehouse is sitting here looking at it. Okay, we get them pinned here. We get them off the field. We get a good field position to start our offense.
So here's the problem for Tuskegee, Charles. They're running plays off of players that are going in motion, and they're just not able to get the correct angle on their blocking technique, and they're being victimized as a result.
Oh, I like the call. Nice look at that. That'll make it second down and 16 now for the Golden Tigers. Don't want to give this football back to Morehouse with good field position. McGrew, pressure, dumps it out in the flats. Catch made there by Sellers out of the backfield, but he's wrapped up immediately by 3 Maroon Tigers who wrestle him down at the 10-yard line. A loss of about 2 on that play.
Also 2 on the reception, third down.
I'm glad McGrew is accurate because on some of these throws, he seems to just float the ball out to the far sideline. His timing is impeccable, but I wouldn't be surprised if Morehouse start to cheat on some of these pass plays to the wide side of the field.
They'll start this play from the 11. Morehouse will have 4 up front. TU third and 18 to go.
And note how close Morehouse has brought their corners up.
Yeah, it looks like they're coming in on a blitz at the corner. They are. McGrew steps up and he sacks him down near the 6-yard line. I'm not sure if he didn't step over one of his linemen's feet and fell to the turf rather than the Maroon Tigers bringing him down, but it'll count as a sack nonetheless. And TU will send on Callum Brent, and he'll be at the base of the end zone to punt this football away. Dangerous time here for Tuskegee.
Morehouse gave the freshmen something extra to look at. That's the first time they've cheated their corners 2 yards off the line of scrimmage.
And we were talking about halftime adjustments. That seems to be one that they made coming out of the locker room. So Kellum will punt it. And TU, Morehouse with a man at midfield. Line drive kick, angling right side, bounces at midfield and over the midfield stripe at the 46 is where Morehouse will start this drive. So Tuskegee victimized by penalties on that possession.
You can feel the momentum of this game swing ever so slightly in the favor of Morehouse. Things, field position, and Tuskegee's inability to get their offense on track, victimizing itself by penalties.
You were asking about that Morehouse drive the previous time they had the football. They went 6 plays, 72 yards, only took 3 minutes and 11 seconds to get the football into the end zone. And as they take over this football with 2:19 remaining in the third, they'll have good field position from their own 47 to start this drive.
Morehouse's play design is going to be really interesting. You have to keep in mind they have a decent running back in their arsenal. Tuskegee's done an excellent job of bottling him up so far. But Morehouse is, as they showed in the first half, they're one big play from scoring a touchdown with the big running back.
And now to your point on that last drive that they really softened that secondary up for Tuskegee by peppering the sideline with those throws there to get that lane free for Brunson to catch it down the sideline. So Tuskegee now has got to make an adjustment knowing that that arsenal is there for the Maroon Tigers. Timeout on the field. Tuskegee with a 20-13 lead over the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College. SIAC action at this 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic. Charles Ward, Mark Laster with the call. Glad you could join us for our continuing coverage of Tuskegee football. A reminder that we're open next weekend, and it'll be the weekend after that the Golden Tigers will be down in Albany to meet the Golden Rams of Albany State, and that is going to be their homecoming football game down there. And Albany State, big winners this afternoon. 47-6 win over Lane College. So right now, as the standings are, Albany, one of those undefeated teams in conference play, led by Benedict, Edward Waters, and Albany State. Benedict with 3 wins, Edward Waters with 3 as well. Benedict in a close ball game this afternoon against Allen. Charles McNeil reporting on that ball game at halftime to see if we can't get an update on that one. That one may have gone final by now. I think Benedict had reclaimed that lead in that ball game. 1st and 10 for Morehouse after the timeout now. Miles fires upfield, and this is going to be caught by the tight end, Vinny, coming back to the interior and works his way down after he's tripped up near the 46-yard line on the Golden Tigers side of the 50.
Morehouse is featuring the big tight end a lot more in the second half than they were in the first. Nothing fancy. Vinny, middle of the field, let him work. Use that 270-pound frame to just batter people.
Football at the 46 now. Scott backpedals, one-legged throw down the field, trying to get it to the tight end once again. Vinny on an out route that time, way downfield.
Well, here's the thing. For a big man, he had decent separation. They used Vinny in a variety of ways. Even though he's 270 pounds, he's working against one of the safeties for Tuskegee and actually had a little bit of separation.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down now and 3 for the Maroon Tigers.
Tuskegee's best shot is to get pressure on the quarterback.
3rd and 3 from the 46. Scott in shotgun. 2 receivers to his left. On the snap, Scott fires across the middle and missed on the pass to Eric Stevens on a little crossing route there that would have been enough for a first down, but a miscue on that pass from Scott.
Kaquan Kimber was the closest player to that pass for Tuskegee, and Kimber was turning around like, what was that just went by my helmet? He was caught by surprise.
Sure. Nice call on that one last year, right? It's like a bullet train leaving the station. So that'll bring up fourth down. Morehouse toying with the idea of going for it, but they decide that they're going to bring on the punter, Sevius Morrell, to kick it away. But we saw a fake punt last weekend with Fort Valley. They will punt this one, though. So Morrell trying to angle it away from the coverage. Fair catch called for by Hall, but he'll take it there at the 15 on the squeeze. So Tuskegee will take the football back over on offense with 1:33 left in the third.
Huge defensive stand by the Tuskegee 11 that time. Morehouse had thoughts of trying to continue the passing game, but Tuskegee's defensive backs were just a little more alert, and they got better pressure on the quarterback, Miles Scott of Morehouse. So now Tuskegee takes over inside their red zone. They have to be thinking discipline.
And moving that football if they're able to. 1:33 left in the third. This right here, the difference really is that missed extra point by Morehouse to keep this game at that right level. So TU with some space, but they can't be comfortable with just a 7-point lead at this stage of the game. McGrew on the ground. They run it left side up near the 20-yard line. That's a good first down play for the Golden Tigers as they unpile it. It was Rouser on the carry for Tuskegee.
Although Johnny Morris only goes 5'9", 190, he doesn't mind banging it off inside the tackles. That time, nothing fancy, straight ahead. Nice chunk, almost 6 yards on first down.
That's a nice second down situation, 2nd and 5. So Rouser to the line of scrimmage now. And they'll shoot it out in the flats. Catch made at the corner, and that's enough for a first down after the catch at the sideline. So TU moves the chains as Jermaine Hardy's number gets called, and Hardy with the catch for the first down.
Tuskegee maintaining that decent tempo on their play calls. Nothing fancy once they get to the line of scrimmage.
Up to the 26 is the line. That'll be a 1st and 10 for TU from there with 31 seconds left in the third. McGrew going to pitch it right side to Rouser. Rouser trying to bang and create the contact there and fight off that first wave of defenders from Morehouse and got it past the 30 on a tough run up near the 32.
Give credit to Rouser picking up about 3 yards after mass contact that time, falling forward, bringing up a short call off that first down run.
Likely our final play of the third quarter, and it is. We head fourth. TU with a 20-13 lead over the Maroon Tigers, and they're moving the football in the third quarter from their own 33. We'll flip the field and come back with the fourth. GTSN.
Broadcast coverage of Golden Tigers athletics is brought to you by the following. The U.S. Coast Guard, always ready. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. Alabama Power, for the service of Alabama. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Yellowwood, a better backyard awaits. Home Depot, how doers get more done. Utilities Board of Tuskegee, purpose, progress, people. Coca-Cola, enjoy the moment with a Coca-Cola. Tuskegee Federal Credit Union, serving the people of Tuskegee and the surrounding community since 1938. TLAT Media, step by step, TLAT Media makes your business grow. And by Advertising Solutions, from concept to conversion, we are your advertising solution.
Hello, Tuskegee fans. My name is Johnny Morris III, running back at Tuskegee University, and this is the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
We're back live here at the 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic, headed into the fourth quarter. TU with a 20-13 lead as we head into the fourth. TU right now with 50 offensive plays, 336 yards, 39 for Morehouse, and they are at 207 yards over the first 3 quarters of play.
Can we go ahead and say that this is an important drive for Tuskegee in this fourth quarter?
You can say it, because it is. They have got to punch this football in. They need a touchdown. That's what the preference is obviously going to be here. They lead at 20-13. And as you referenced, Morehouse trying to swing some of this momentum here inside the Cramton Bowl.
I think another thing to watch, Charles, is as Tuskegee likes to run multiple receivers to both sides of the field, how they decide to use the receivers either to get separation or to set up blocking plays. Now, we've seen Tuskegee struggle so far with a few holding calls downfield. They're going to have to decide if they decide to stay with passing short and running into those bunch formations. The receivers have to be disciplined, stay in technique, do not get those arms around players, try to stay in front of them.
Miles Scott, 13 of 25 passing for Morehouse with the 1 interception. He's thrown 3 passes to Stevens, 3 to Woodford out of the backfield, 3 to Brunson, and 3 to the tight end, Vinny. And that off the passing game of Morehouse starting to come around. That's what we thought we were going to see in this contest, is a passing affair. And we definitely have seen it from the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse. For them on the ground, not doing a whole lot as it relates to rushing yards, just 8 yards on the ground for them. Tuskegee starting the fourth on the ground, straight ahead, right side, and nothing there. Stiff wall by the Maroon Tigers as Morehouse tries to go on the ground on that second down play. That'll make it 3rd down now for the Golden Tigers. 3rd and 3 for TU. They look to the sideline for the call. Rouser and the freshman quarterback McGrew peering over that way. It's like Clinton Smith sending those plays in from Tuskegee at the sideline.
Big 3rd down call. Watch the right tackle for Tuskegee.
From the 33. McGrew looks up, dumps it out toward the sideline. Waiting there is Hardy. Hardy with the catch. He'll slide back to the inside. Good job there on a long throw by McGrew.
A long throw, and Hardy was wide open as Morehouse had a breakdown in defensive coverage. It's almost as if Hardy came off the bench and was just standing there waiting for the ball to arrive.
Just slid off of the Morehouse bench, right? Yeah, just spot up. 1st down, a big pickup there for TU. McGrew, ball fake, pumps it out and out of the hands, trying to lead the intended receiver, Watson, but he led him too far on the pass.
One of the few inaccurate throws that we've seen by Bryson McGrew, the freshman for Tuskegee. Hands on hips, facing the sideline, knows that it was his call to make a better throw.
I believe I said Watson. That's Rashad Wilson, the intended receiver there for Tuskegee, just out of his reach. That'll make it 2nd and 10 now for TU. Just underway here in the fourth quarter. Tuskegee up by 7, 20-13. Snap, McGrew. He'll give it off. Right side, Rouser looking for space at the corner, but a good open field tackle there by Maroon Tigers. And coming up on that play for them defensively, that was Kinley Neal. Neal trailing that play to make that stop for them.
That time, Tuskegee lined up big Jeffrey Kamochu, fullback, in the slot on the right side. Kamochu was not able to get a decent block to lead that play, and as a result, Morehouse stopped it for literally no gain.
3rd down and 9 for Tuskegee from their own 45. Converted a big 3rd down played just a moment ago. See if they can do it back-to-back here. 13 minutes left in the football game.
Morehouse's linebackers cheating a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. They're within 2 yards of the defensive wall.
McGrew in the pocket. Here comes the pressure. He's got some space right side. He can run to the marker if he can get there. Can't get there soon enough. Chased out of bounds near the 49 on the right at their 49. Thought he may have gotten it past midfield. Still a few yards shy of the marker.
I agree with you. That was kind of a stingy spot.
Yeah. At least a couple more yards out of that.
I thought that he was within 2 yards of the marker from,
So do I.
and he's going out aligned almost perfectly with our broadcast booth. So we had a pretty good look at it.
Yeah. They mark him at midfield. So Morehouse will have to they'll take the football back as TU not able to get to that stick and they'll have to punt it here. And Brent set to do that. So Kellum called right back out there for Tuskegee. And got a floater, a fair catch called for. No fair catch called for. Made at the 15 and wrapped up right at the 15-yard line. Thought there was a fair catch signal thrown, but no on that play. It was Jonathan Porter on the return for Morehouse, and Porter with just 2 on the punt return to the 12, or the 17, beg your pardon. So 11:57 remains in the football game. Morehouse takes it over on offense. Tuskegee here looking to get them 3 and out and get that field position.
This is one of those strange times during the game, Charles, when you can feel it hanging in the balance. It's right there for one team to grab the momentum and put their signature on this game. Both teams have struggled on offense in the last 2 drives. Tuskegee's defense, I wouldn't be surprised at this point on the field, at this position, if they didn't dial up something a little bit more aggressive with their cornerbacks against Morehouse, which has gone past happy in the third quarter.
Nice call. Saw the defense of Tuskegee execute a couple of blitzes in that first half. We'll see how that plays because you're referencing Morehouse. They have done a lot of passing right at the sideline, so maybe the blitz package may not be in order for Tuskegee because if they get caught into that and these receivers catch it at the corner, it's going to have a lot of real estate in front of them.
Also a decision for Tuskegee who they want to cover the big tight end Vinny with for Morehouse. He's done an excellent job of finding space at 270 pounds heavy.
Yeah, he, as your references, have been a big target for them. Got him listed as 3 catches. Seems like he has more than that in this football game. But they have certainly been timely catches by him to keep that offense in Morehouse moving. Quarterbacks Miles Scott for the Maroon Tigers. 3 of 16. I beg your pardon, that's on his rush in the air. Scott is 13 of 25 with that 1 INT. And the freshman Bryson McGrew, 13 of 17 for 184 yards with that 1 touchdown. So after the timeout, Morehouse will start from their own 17. They go left to right in this final quarter of football. TU starting with 4 in the box up front defensively. Scott lines up shotgun. They're sending Kaquan Kimber. Kimber got a hand on Scott but couldn't pull him down. Now he's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Kaquan on a blitz that time, just as you dial it up, Lassiter, to put that pressure on Scott.
And at the snap, Tuskegee had Antonio Knight Jr., defensive back, who's calling signals from his safety position. He's backpedaling 10 yards deep, expecting the long throw downfield.
So Scott able to elude the initial tackle by Kaquan, but he lost the yard on the play, so it's 2nd down and 11 for Morehouse from the 16. This time, Kimber not coming. They try to set a screen. They got it to Woodford in the middle of the field. Woodford slides back and took a massive hit near the 25-yard line near the shoulder pads and went straight down to the carpet at the 25, but they are awfully close to the first down marker, about 2 yards away.
Let's go ahead and give that tackle to Tamarcus Grayson, who caught Woodford high enough to send him backwards. If his forward momentum continues, he may have picked up the first down.
Knocked him down right in his tracks at the 25, so it's 3rd and 2 now. Big play for the defense of Tuskegee. They can stop Morehouse on this 3rd down effort. lining up like they're coming for a blitz. They send it up the middle. He shoots it underneath. Catch going to be made and lost the football. It's loose on the surface. It may have ruled it a catch. The umpire right there on top of that. Tuskegee coming away. We got an injured Tuskegee player down. I thought he may have had the football. Morehouse may have taken that football back. And if they did, if they gave him a catch after they got... Okay, this is what we got on the call last. They ruled it a fumble on the field, and Tuskegee takes it on the fumble. Injured TU player at the 32, but this is a second fumble of the football game that Morehouse has given up. This is another one in prime position for the offense of Tuskegee.
One thing you don't like to see is that whoever the injured players is obstructed by our view. The training crew came sprinting onto the field from both sidelines, and they're attending to him right at the 32. So both teams have retreated to their sidelines as they're sorting out the injured player for Tuskegee, who is fortunately back on his feet.
Antonio Knight, a name you just called a few moments ago. So both squads rushed out there to take care of him. Got a pat on the helmet. They lifted him up and taking him off to the sideline.
I always hold my breath when you see both training staffs come out. When one staff comes out, it's okay. But when both come out, you expect something serious. But in that condition, let's look at the good news. Tuskegee gets the turnover.
Sure, they do get it on another fumble as Morehouse coughs it up at the 32. So TU with 10:34 left in this football game now. They are reviewing this play, so likely a challenge coming from Morehouse this time. Tuskegee challenged the play in the first half. They lost on their challenge, so they're out of challenges for the game. But Morehouse trying to see if they can't keep this football as the review is taking place.
And this may take a minute because the officials have just now gotten to the sidelines where the monitor is housed right at the 20-yard line in front of the stands. So
yeah, they'll have 3 plays to look at. 5 plays in this case. A.D. Drew, the sports information director at Morehouse, says he's got 5 cameras on the replay for tonight's game. So they'll have all the angles they need to take a look at it.
The more angles, the better to get it right.
Indeed. So as it stands right now, Golden Tigers will take it over at the 32. Barring this call being overturned, they called it a fumble on the field. So this is our 6th game of the season, and the first time we had the replay challenge twice in this contest.
My only beef with the replay challenge, I'd like to see them set up the cameras so maybe a little bit closer to the field or midfield so the officials don't have so far to run to get to the replay. Might be a better idea if they could get to behind one of the benches at the 50-yard line.
Well, they have a iPad that they're looking at the plays on. It just depends on where they have that iPad located. Probably be better for the iPad, since it's mobile, just to go find them versus giving them that one designated spot, because this is happening on our left on this side of the 50, and they had to run all the way back to the right side at about the 30.
Well, if they have an iPad, just give the brother a Velcro belt, keep it on the field, just dial it up,
sure.
Zip it off, and take a look at it.
Sorry, buddy, about your iPad. So they do uphold the call on the field. It's a fumble. Tuskegee will take it over. Just visualizing an official running around with an iPad strapped to his waist.
Well, you know, it is 2025. We got all kind of technology.
Sure, maybe a little wristwatch or something. So TU gets it on the fumble at the 32. So the defensive effort by So they didn't charge them for that replay timeout, is what I heard the official say. So although Morehouse lost that challenge, officials may have called that for that replay. It's likely what happened. Quick snap now. McGrew pumps once, shoots it downfield, and he's going to give it right back to Morehouse on an interception at the 12-yard line. Not sure what that play call was, but it was a jailbreak by the Maroon Tigers defensively, and they come away with the interception on a lofty pass by McGrew that just was thrown up there.
Maroon grew with a freshman mistake, throwing the ball with pressure in his face. That time didn't have enough on it. ball was thrown short. Morehouse made a play on it. They pick up the interception and turnover with 10:27 remaining.
My, oh, my. So right back what was stolen from them on the interception. So McGrew picked off there. His first interception of this ball game. So Morehouse from their own 11, now with 10:27 remaining. Interception credited to Tyree Stanley. Safety for the Maroon Tigers. Scott's going to pump one, shoots it toward the sideline. This one going to be caught by the big tight end, Vinny, there. And he steps out of bounds near the 30-yard line. They are just using him to perfection, aren't they?
Vinny is fast enough to find the soft spots in coverage, which is really unusual for a player of his size. That time, nothing fancy, just a simple out route, but a deep out. He turns, faces his quarterback, makes a decent catch over his head. Morehouse with a quick first down.
Karan Nord there on coverage for the Golden Tigers, but just not. He tried to swat that football out of the air, but the perfect pass from Miles got out of his fingertip reach and into the hands of Vinny. Pitch pass out in the flats. They get it into the hands of Woodford. Woodford spins off one tackler, works the group up near the 40-yard line. That's just a man-on-man effort there, and Woodford beat the defense of Tuskegee.
Woodford has got to be feeling a little bit frustrated. That time took out some of his frustration on Tuskegee's defense, picking up that first down. Had contact 7 yards, picked up 3 yards on his own.
Woodford listed at 5'9", 203 as a freshman, running as a more senior-type player on that play, and he runs like he's a lot heavier than 203, creating that contact and running through the first wall. He got a first down to the 40. We're down to 9:08 remaining in the football game. Scott with the snap. They'll roll him right side toward the sideline. Now he got a block at the corner. Scott freed at midfield. Now slides down at the 40-yard line. A good scramble by him, and he got an outstanding block from the wide out at the corner to be able to turn it upfield.
Tuskegee ran an unusually wide split in the middle of the field. DeMarcus Wynn, big number 99, was just not quick enough to catch up to the quarterback. He was circling around. Wynn goes 280. That's a mismatch in terms of quickness. And Morehouse with the huge first down.
They'll mark him on the slide at the 41. 8:30 remains in the football game. We're live at the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic from the Cramton Bowl. And these fans getting all the excitement they could ever have hoped for in this classic. Shotgun. Scott fires, whistles at the line of scrimmage. Got a call there against the Morehouse offense. Got an early start there on the procedure. That was Vinny, the tight end, trying to come out of his stance a little bit early, and they'll push him back 5.
Just when you sing Vinny's praises, he does something to hurt his offense on a pre-snap call.
Football at the 46. 20-13. Tuskegee with the lead over Morehouse, but Morehouse on the TU side of the field at their 46. Scott lines up in the pistol. Woodford joins him to his right hip. On the snap, Scott looking to his left. Now steps up in the pocket, sees the pressure. He'll elude and work his way down to the 40-yard line. So that'll make it 2nd down and 9 now for the Maroon Tigers.
So what Morehouse is taking advantage of, Tuskegee running wide splits up front, and they're dropping their linebackers in coverage, leaving the middle wide open. And so once the quarterback, Miles Scott from Morehouse, sees that, he's just taking it straight up the middle himself.
Able to run and get that football back to the initial line of scrimmage. So he'll line up in the pistol again. Slot is to his left. 4 up front for TU. Spread formation. Scott with the snap. Throws it back underneath to Woodford. Woodford with it. Pushes off one tackler. Turns the corner for the Maroon Tigers. Foot race. Steps down the sideline. Finally shoved out of bounds near the 5-yard line. And Woodford just stiff-armed one of the players for Tuskegee to get that corner.
Woodford is strong, and he also has a burst. He got to the sideline at about the 20, and you could hear the crowd sighing on the Tuskegee sideline, knowing that Woodford, who scored in the first half, was about to score again. But this is coming back.
Didn't see the flag, but it's coming back against the Maroon Tigers.
A few players on the Tuskegee defense, hands on hips, which is not a good sign. Might be a good time for an early timeout.
Sure. Yeah, you don't want that to be a factor here at this point in the ball game. You got to be fresh. Woodford on that catch and run right side, the left side of the field. Got a real strong stiff arm against Kaquan Timber to get that sideline.
What did Vince Lombardi say? Fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Sure.
Tuskegee's defense showing some slight signs of fatigue.
2nd down and 9 after the assessment now. Scott again in the shotgun. Rolls right, fires across the middle, coming back with the catch is Stevens. He's wide open at the 25-yard line, and that's a 1st down for Morehouse. Yeah, that secondary for the Golden Tigers getting a little bit soft now. And Morehouse passing and running at will.
That's exactly the word I was thinking of, because with Tuskegee's safeties dropping deep, it's leaving the middle wide open.
Stevens just able to sit down at that 25-yard line marker and roll to the 24. So 1st and 10 from the 24 now for Morehouse. We're at 6:03 left in the football game. Scott, he'll take the snap. In the middle, fires across the middle to the end zone, touchdown. Threw a bullet to the end zone, and the catch was made right there. Nicely done there, and he found Brunson on the end of that. So Brunson with the grab and into the end zone, and Morehouse is right there on the heels of Tuskegee. If they can convert on this point after, will be tied at 20.
You mentioned the key word, on their heels. Tuskegee backpedaling that time. You can see the players as they're going into kick formation for Tuskegee. I count at least 3 players with hands on hips. They were just worn down on that last series.
So Rowe now on to try to tie this football game up. Missed one PAT earlier. This time he drives it through, and this football game is tied with 5:54 remaining in the contest. Morehouse on a sustained drive there. They score on the touchdown pass from Scott to Brunson, and we're tied at 20. Just threw a pass right in the needle, the pass right in between 2 defenders for Tuskegee, and an easy grab for the touchdown.
Also note, Charles, the officials are huddled up 5-yard line. This game has turned a little bit chippy on the last sequence for Morehouse. You can see players engaged after the play was over, so the officials may be conferring to see if they can get this game back under control and prevent it from escalating after the play is over.
Yeah, we've seen that pretty much all game long. But Morehouse entering big on that 24-yard touchdown strike to the leading receiver, Greg Bronson, for the Maroon Tigers, and we're tied at 20.
Miles Scott, as you called it so accurately, just threw a strike in the middle of the field. Very decisive on that throw. Had enough on it. There were 2 defenders there, but an accurate and a hot throw.
So we are knotted. And the timeout here inside the Cramton Bowl. And Tuskegee, we were talking about them trying to make some adjustments defensively because of what we saw from that Morehouse offense. But you're right. Just time wasn't on their side on that drive. They were fatigued out there.
When you have a weapon like Nick Woodford, it's only a matter of time before he starts to wear down your defense. He showed a flash of it on his first touchdown. On this last drive, Woodford got to the corner on the play that was called back, and it seemed to exhaust the Tuskegee defense just trying to catch up with him. Even though it was called back, they were tired.
So the question really has to become now, can this freshman get his groove back in these last 5 minutes and 54 seconds? Through an interception on the last possession for Tuskegee, and TU has been relatively quiet in this second half, only able to accumulate 3 points up to this point.
You know, coming to the stadium this evening, Charles, something was telling me this game might come down to a field goal. And here we are tied 20-20 with 5:54 remaining. Tuskegee has a weapon as a place kicker. So really what they're thinking minimally is you want to see if you can have this drive take the ball at least inside the 35-yard line and take your chances.
Nice call on that. I thought we'd gotten past that point in the ball game, but it rears its ugly head, as you referenced, as Morehouse is able to scramble back into it. And they don't have a bad field goal kicker either in David Rowe. Rowe is 3rd in the SIAC. He's hit as long from his 43 yards away. And obviously for Ryan and Tuskegee, his long this season is 42, but he can go a lot longer than that.
We've seen Tuskegee break some big return plays only to have them called back twice this game so far. would be a nice spot to see a big return for Tuskegee without the penalty.
Cooper will stand at the 10. And backpedaling that way to join him is E.J. Hall. And the kick's going to come to Cooper at the 10. Devin, middle of the field, at the 20, looking for a wall right side. Hit there once. They knock him down near the 21-yard line. So Tuskegee with the offense back out there with less than 6 minutes remaining in the football game, tied at 20 each.
Now let's reset the stage. Morehouse comes into this game winless. They are 0-4. Tuskegee needs a win desperately. So you can see Morehouse's body language. They have a sense that they're in this game. 5:47 remaining. Body language is going to be really interesting to follow down the stretch.
Bryson McGrew, the freshman quarterback. He'll line up in shotgun. TU right to left on your listening device. They'll break a 3-minute set at the slot down at the bottom. Kamuku coming back to block. Lost it, did McGrew, and he had to fall on it near the 13. Was getting ready to pass it out in the right flat, but he just lost the handle on the football, and it slipped right out of his hands.
He picks the ball off the turf and squeezed it a few times. He's got to understand that this is the time when you cannot afford any type of turnover.
Yeah, gave up one on that last interception. Here, just lost it on the transition to the pass, so it'll be 2nd down and 18, because he was in the shotgun when that happened. So now from the 13, they'll keep it on the ground, looking for some space is Sellers. Sellers has his legs taken from under him as they stretch him toward the sideline. May have gotten it to the 14, but not much more there. And Tuskegee pent on a big 3rd and 18 here. And you talk about momentum. If Morehouse can stop them on this 3rd down, they're going to have all of it that they need when they get the football back.
Quarterback Carlos Donovan from Morehouse has been really aggressive. That time he made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. He wears number 1. The corners for Morehouse now are backing up a little bit as Tuskegee goes 3 wide to the right side.
They are trying to keep everything in front of them. You know, the defense for the Maroon Tigers to play it in front and keep them from the sticks. The freshman, McGrew, takes the snap. They're bringing a backer in. McGrew steps up, rolls right side, got some time, but he's hit from behind, and the football comes loose. It's knocked down Tuskegee right now. Morehouse picks it up as a fumble, but I think they're going to rule that was a forward pass, just incomplete. Wow, no, they're going to say it was a fumble. So Morehouse got that backside pressure on the freshman, and they forced him to cough it up. They hit him from behind just as he was getting set to throw the football.
McGrew was stepping up the throw. You could see his arm will have the benefit of a replay. His arm was cocked, and it was knocked out before his arm started moving forward.
And Tuskegee couldn't challenge it, even if they wanted to, because they burned their challenge in the first half of this football game. But no question about it, we've got the replay here on the big screen inside the Cramton Bowl, and it was showing that that football had not started forward yet. So the good pressure by the Maroon Tigers defense puts their offense in business from the 23-yard line of Tuskegee. They're looking at it again here inside the stadium, and no doubt about it, that football belongs to the Golden Tigers, the Maroon Tigers, that is, of Morehouse. Snap to Scott. They go on the ground. Woodford looking for space side. One runs through one tackler, lost his helmet. TU getting the initial surge, but just not able to bring him down on the initial hit.
Woodford still running like he's fresh, has fresh legs. Picks up about 4 on that first down carry.
Boy, you talk about a real change of dimension real quick in the football game. Tuskegee led 17-6, and we're tied at 20 now with less than 4 minutes remaining, and Morehouse knocking at the door to take the lead for the first time in this football game. No gain on the play. Football still, I beg your pardon, pick up a 5 on that play. That'll make it 2nd down and 5 for Morehouse. Miles got the quarterback. He'll take the snap. Looks to his left. Fires it out there. He got the tight end, Vinny. Vinny fights off one would-be tackler, and Vinny going to run it inside the 10, down to the 5. He's just too much muscle for the secondary of Tuskegee to bring down.
270 pounds moving forward is a lot to ask from a safety. Vinny that time makes the catch, takes it all the way down to the 7-yard line of Tuskegee.
Yeah, Tuskegee trying to arm tackle him up near the shoulder pass, and that's just not working. So Morehouse trying to make quick work of this after they got that turnover on the fumble. They are inside the red zone now, 1st and goal to go from the 7. TU defense, if it's going to answer, this is the time to answer. Woodford joins Scott in the backfield. They'll give it to Woodford, left side, slides past the one-way flag coming in at the back of that play. They push the pack near the 2. See if there's a hold coming in out of this, though.
That might be an accurate call based on where that call, the flag was thrown right in the middle of that scrum on the far sideline.
They'll unpile it, and yeah, that's the way it's going to go against Morehouse. So Tuskegee gets a break there.
Hold is called on Cyrus DeBose, a freshman for Morehouse.
So that'll push the Maroon Tigers outside of the 10 to the 17. It'll remain first down, 1st and goal to go from the 17. 2:34 left in regulation. Scott in shotgun, joined by Woodford to his left. Now Woodford would step up a couple of steps for blocking purposes. Scott looks, fires, got a man on a comeback route, could not get it into the hands of Stevens. Stevens circling near the 7, but the pass slightly underthrown.
Tuskegee got some late pressure in on the quarterback, may have forced that throw a little bit low and outside. One of the few times we've seen Scott with time to throw off target.
Pendergrass reports back. Vinny to the sideline for Coach Mathis and Morehouse. 2nd down, goal to go from the 17. Scott in shotgun, joined by Woodford. Slot is to his left. He'll take the snap. Looks off one now. He'll tuck and run. Now slides back to the inside, spun around near the 13-yard line.
That time, Tuskegee decided to blitz Kaquan Kimber on the snap. Fortunately, Kimber was at the right point of attack on the right side of the defense.
It looks like Scott was intentionally running that football on that play. That'll bring up a 3rd down now for Morehouse. 3rd and 14. We're at the 2-minute mark. That's an automatic timeout here with 2 minutes remaining. And Morehouse with a big 3rd and 14, but they have a chance to go ahead if they can keep it right there. They have a decent chip shot at a field goal.
First decision for Tuskegee, Charles, is how do they want to play their pass coverage alignment? We've seen them very soft in the middle of the field. They were effective on that last sequence by blitzing a linebacker. Wouldn't be surprised to try that same tactic again.
Football going to be right at the 14-yard line for the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse. They've scrambled back in the second half to tie this football game at 20 each. Tuskegee cruising in that first half of play, but after some adjustments by Morehouse coming into the second half, they just swiped the momentum from Tuskegee and have been very impressive since they've done that.
And it only just demonstrates how huge turnovers can be. Tuskegee, as you mentioned, was cruising 17-0 off the fumble, and then this half, an interception and another fumble, really donating opportunities to Morehouse.
Last possession, Miles got Brunson on a 24-yard touchdown pass. That was a 7-play, 89-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And the drive prior to that, that was that quick one that they got the score with 3 minutes on that drive, 72 yards. And they're tied right now, and they have the football. 2 minutes remaining. Players back out after the 2-minute timeout.
Tight formation for Morehouse with one player wide out to the right.
Not sure if they didn't. I think somebody took a timeout after they came back to set things up. No, they weren't quite ready to come out of that break yet, is what that was. So they sent the players back to the sideline.
So Morehouse was lining up Eric Stevens actually outside the numeral that time. They're snapping from the far hash mark and had everyone tight, but one wide receiver that far away from the line of scrimmage was really an interesting look. Tuskegee may be thinking, okay, they've shown us something. Now how do we defend it?
Indeed. He's doing the same thing on this set as well. Stevens way outside of the marker at the 13-yard line. I think they're going to give him two options, either go to that corner or a quick crossing route on the inside to put him in a one-on-one.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him break to that middle of the field, which has been very soft for Tuskegee in this third and fourth quarter.
And they're going to line him up just in front of Michael King, the defensive specialist for Tuskegee. Scott in shotgun. They bring a man in motion. That's Brunson to the right side. Pressure on the backside. Fires it to the end zone. Vinny, the tight end, wide open. Touchdown, Morehouse. They decoyed to no end that time. They lined out Stevens way out past the marker, sent Brunson over that way as well. They just flipped it right back across the middle to the tight end for the 6.
It doesn't take much. All you have to do is get a linebacker to turn, just blink the other direction. Kimber was the closest player to the tight end, but by the time the ball was released, there was no catching him.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, they set that play up well. Richard Moncrief, the offensive coordinator for the Maroon Tigers, with an excellent call there. Went right back to the well again to Vinny, and he answered. Rowe now with the point after. Lifts that through, and Morehouse extends its lead to 27-20 over the Golden Tigers with 1:55 left in this football game. Just a better half of football by the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College.
As players were untangling after that last extra point attempt, you can see Morehouse's team sprint to the bench. Tuskegee, on the other hand, they were just jogging to the bench. You can tell they're deflated, but the game is not over. 1:55 remaining. Tuskegee understands the assignment. The question is, can they answer?
Indeed. See what they do on the return. They can get some good field position on a return. See if that'll help their effort some. But no question about it, they have got to get this football into the end zone. So Cooper will be back, and so will E.J. Hall. Sproul will kick it for Morehouse. And what at one point in this ball game looked like it's going to be an easy contest for the Golden Tigers. They find themselves behind 27-20. Sproul with the kick, little pooch kick there. It'll take a bounce at the 20, fielded there by Cooper. Cooper dances the sideline back to the interior, and they say he stepped out of bounds near the 27-yard line. So the offense of the Golden Tigers making it back out onto the football field now with 1:51 remaining.
It's kind of a cute play by Morehouse on the kickoff. Piece of cake for Tuskegee, only 68 yards to go.
Yeah, nothing to it.
No problem.
They'll come to the line of scrimmage. The freshman quarterback making his way back into that shotgun set for the Golden Tigers with 3 receivers at the top to his right. See what Morehouse does if they put pressure on him by sending in the linebackers. They're showing they're stepping in. Now they back up. Underneath with the pass. Catch made by Hall at the 39, and EJ steps out of bounds.
Excellent pickup. Excellent use of clock by Tuskegee. 1:46 remaining. They're thinking clock management on every single play.
He got the first down there. And the line of scrimmage now, the 40-yard line. McGrew, same set, 3 receivers to his right. TU looking to the sideline for the play. Clock stopped at 1:46, but the play clock working its way down near 10 now as they're set for the play from the sideline. Snap to McGrew, looks to his right, fires toward the sideline, lunging and catching, but out of bounds. Far side of the field, another deep route toward the sideline. Just trying to get it out there to Parker.
That was a long throw. Morehouse is bringing pressure by Nicholas Lemons from the right side. Got in on quarterback McGrew. He's got to be more conscious of pressure coming from his backside.
1:41 left in the football game now. 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. McGrew, pressure at the corner by Morehouse, dumps it underneath, catch, no, incomplete pass there, was trying to get it out there in the flats to Hall, but he threw it right behind EJ just a bit. EJ to the turf couldn't hold on to the football.
So we're in 2-down territory, Charles, with 10 yards to pick up for the Golden Tigers. They're going back to a spread formation. You have 3 wide receivers to the right side with about 5 yards of distance between them.
A minute 37 seconds left. Morehouse trying to get its fans on their feet here inside the Cramton Bowl. And McGrew in the pistol with the snap. Looks upfield. Here's the pressure. They'll get him and sack him down near the 35. The pocket just collapsed on him. He tried to step up to find some space, but Morehouse working at the edges, able to close that pocket and got the sack on him. And Tuskegee forced to take a timeout here, and it's going to be 4th down for Tuskegee.
Tuskegee had a receiver streaking open at the 40-yard line, but it was too late as Morehouse was bringing pressure. Looked like Ian Nation had a lot of separation, but the pressure didn't allow the quarterback for Tuskegee to step up and make a throw.
So it's going to be 4th and 15 for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. No doubt about it. They've got to go for it here with just a minute 29 left. Scoreboard showing that TU's got 3 timeouts left. But if they don't get this first down, they're going to have to burn those timeouts. Morehouse will be able to go right through that.
The problem is, Morehouse is bringing pressure. You don't know where it's coming from. And so Tuskegee's backs have to be really alert in pass protection to give McGrew enough time to throw because they need 10 yards. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but with a 5-yard drop, he's got to have a 15-yard pickup.
That's a good call on that. Longer than what it suggests in terms of the yardage. Tuskegee on a 4th and 15. Morehouse going to play prevent here, anticipating a pass for sure. Now they bring a man up at the corner. And the snap. And now they come back on the inside. McGrew steps past that. Now he'll have to run for it. He's got to get to that marker. Lunges ahead, depending on the mark. I think he got there. McGrew, the freshman, with a heads-up play there on the run. Got it right to midfield. Is exactly where Tuskegee needed to get it. Boy,
When all else fails, let the freshman go to work.
Take off.
With that lunge, as you mentioned, that was really close, but he picks it up. Tuskegee maintains possession.
Wonderful play there by Bryson McGrew. From midfield now, he'll take the snap. Fresh set of downs. Roll is right side. Got a man squaring up there. Catch made there by Parker. He lost the football, but it comes free. And Tuskegee keeps it.
Now, conversely, it's Morehouse's defense's turn to be a little bit exhausted. Tuskegee has them on their heels. I see a few players from Morehouse, hands on hips.
60 seconds remaining here inside the Cramton Bowl. Catch is made downfield by Wilson to the 38-yard line. Tuskegee now with 49 seconds left in this football game. 1st and 10. Snap to McGrew. McGrew in the pocket. Looks upfield. Dumps it underneath. Got a man on a crossing route. Legs taken from under him on the catch is Cooper.
Got to get to the line and snap it.
Clock running. Stopped at 37 after a timeout is taken.
37 seconds remaining.
I think Tuskegee. They're going to put the clock at 39. I think Tuskegee took that time out there, Mark, with 39 seconds left. Right where they clock management-wise want to be, right there at the 33-yard line. And a chance to punch this in for a touchdown. Got that big first down run from the freshman quarterback to get him on the Morehouse side of the 50. And now within striking distance, but they cannot create a turnover on their own.
If I'm reading the scoreboard correctly, Tuskegee is down to their final timeout.
Yep, they took that one. And they're likely going to get all the play calls they can get in on this one. Got one more timeout left as the team makes it back onto the playing surface.
If any plays are run to the middle of the field, Tuskegee's offense has to have the discipline to sprint back to the line of scrimmage, get the ball to the official, get lined up, and either decide to spike it or run a play.
They put it at 39. It is 2nd down and 7 for TU at the 33 of Morehouse. McGrew with 3 receivers to his right. He'll take the snap, looking that way. Steps up in the pocket, avoids one tackler. Now they'll get a sack on him at the 40. So Tuskegee got to hurry and line up back up to the line of scrimmage after the sack of McGrew as TU takes its final time out here with 34 seconds left.
Morehouse is dropping their safeties 25 yards deep in coverage. They want to keep everything in front of them, as you mentioned earlier. So if McGrew has any thoughts of stepping up and throwing, he has to be really careful not to underthrow anything.
Now you're thinking about clock management here. That route, Tuskegee, with everybody kind of floating toward the end zone, you can still take a couple of shots short and get them there near the sidelines and get them going out of bounds where you don't. Now you're in a 3rd and 14 versus that second down effort where they only needed 7. You could have run that route and just got them toward the sideline, but instead they got the sack on McGrew instead, and now it's a 3rd and very long.
So far, the most effective play on this drive has been McGrew on the ground running. So if Morehouse leaves the middle open, 34 seconds remaining, wouldn't be surprised to see him take off once again, see if you can get your team back to the line of scrimmage and football. Now, we're going through a lot of scenarios. Sure. There's a lot that can happen, and it's a crazy game at this point.
Offense with TU back out on the football field at the 40. 34 seconds left, trailing 27-20 to the Maroon Tigers. McGrew, he'll take the snap. Here comes pressure. Had it hit from behind, and he's going to be down on the surface at midfield, and Morehouse got a fumble and coming away with the football.
Once again, McGrew got hit from the blind side, coughed up the football. He is still down on the field.
Yeah, he took a shot as that pocket just collapsed around him. He's coming up now toward the sideline, but Morehouse rules the day here after they got the sack on him, and it seemed like they had everybody in on that sack.
They had a lot of heat coming in on the offensive line of Tuskegee and just outmanned the front.
Pocket collapsed. McGrew trying to get it upfield as he was trying to motion forward with the pass. They brought him down to the surface and took that football away. So that fumble will give it back to Morehouse with 26 seconds left, and it's also going to give them a chance to run this out for their first win of the season. They only have to run this one play. And Tuskegee out of timeouts. And Morehouse has just stunned this crowd here in the Cramton Bowl as they come from behind, trailing 17-6 at the intermission. And it was all the second half that led by their offense that they steal the win here in this 86th annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic and get their first win of the season. Dejected Tuskegee making it to midfield for the traditional handshake with the opposition, and Morehouse, just a quality second half of play, made some adjustments at halftime and just ruled that second half with a strong offensive performance.
Well, Morehouse, as we mentioned, came into this game winless, and like a caged, cornered animal, came fighting back in the second half. Tuskegee didn't do itself any favors with turnovers and interception. It was a hard-fought contest on both sides, and Tuskegee will look at the game film and just kick themselves. But for the second consecutive week, a winless team faces the Golden Tigers and comes away with a victory.
And guess what? The exact same score from a week ago, 27-20 here this time in the Cramton Bowl.
What did we say? Deja vu all over again?
Yeah, there you go. Tuskegee in a tough one. They fall to the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College. Tuskegee falls to 2-4 and to 2-2 in the SIAC. And the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College get their first win of the campaign under Terrence Mathis in his second year. They go to 1-4 overall, and they go to 1-2 in the SIAC. We'll take a quick break here, come back, wrap things up here on GTSN.
Broadcast coverage of Golden Tigers athletics is brought to you by the following. The U.S. Coast Guard, always ready. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. Alabama Power, for the service of Alabama. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Yellowwood, a better backyard awaits. Home Depot, how doers get more done. Utilities Board of Tuskegee. Purpose, progress, people. Coca-Cola, enjoy the moment with a Coca-Cola. Tuskegee Federal Credit Union, serving the people of Tuskegee and the surrounding community since 1938. TLAT Media, step by step, TLAT Media makes your business grow. And by Advertising Solutions, from concept to conversion, we are your advertising solution.
Back live here at the Cramton Bowl, 86th Annual Tuskegee Morehouse Classic has come to an end. And at the end of the day, it's the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse College who win it 27-20 over the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. And Mark, if you are a Tuskegee fan, it's the kind of ball game that leaves you just absolutely speechless.
It's one of those games that you had under your control. But give credit to Morehouse behind the passing of Miles Scott and the big tight end Maurice Venny. They came out in the second half with a plan. They took advantage of a couple of turnovers, did what they had to do on the short passing game, and really caught Tuskegee, which had a dominant time of possession in the first half. They kept Tuskegee's defense on the field to the point where they were just exhausted.
Indeed, that's what happened. That possession time flipped, and as you referenced, the defense just ran out of steam. But you got to credit that Morehouse offense, too. They just really turned things up in that second half. We thought coming into it that it was going to be a passing affair, but they really got their passing game in sequence in that second half, led by the quarterback Miles Scott and that big tight end Venny. They just really were able to spread that field and just kept Tuskegee on its heels.
I'd like to give a gold star, though, Charles, to the quarterback for Tuskegee, Bryson McGrew, in his first start as a freshman playing back at home. The saying is you can't go home again. Or can you go get back at home again? But McGrew played an excellent game despite the turnovers in his first start, got Tuskegee rolling and had them playing at a really decent tempo. So with the bye week coming up, McGrew and Tuskegee have some extra time to get into recovery mode and prepare for Albany State.
McGrew finishing 17 of 25 with that one interception, but it's the two fumbles that really were noteworthy in that second half that turned into scores for Morehouse, enabling them to come away with the 27-20 win. So Morehouse wins it. They go to 1-4 and 1-2 in the SIAC. And Tuskegee, this one is going to be tougher to swallow than almost any at this juncture in the season. They go to 2-4 on the campaign and fall to 1-3 in the SIAC. So once again, final score, Morehouse 27, Golden Tigers 20. Glad you could join us for our coverage on GTSN. As Mark referenced, we're open next weekend, so we're back in a couple of weeks on the road down at Albany State to be their guest at their homecoming ball game. So the road gets even tougher for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee when they meet the Golden Rams of Albany State. Special thanks to our production crew, and certainly special thanks to Charles McNeil for handling our pregame show and halftime. And special thanks to everybody at Tuskegee Administration and the Athletics Department for allowing us to do this work here on GTSN. Once again, Morehouse wins it 27-20 over the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. This has been a production of the Golden Tigers Sports Network.